Oh, hi.
Of course, I'm muted. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm good. I'm good. So what's going on?
Not much. I feel like it's been recovery since the trial, trying to get life back in order.
Yes, for sure. It's weird. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't feel like a work week, but
Yeah,
it is.
This week has literally felt like it's been 3 weeks long.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. Okay, so hey everybody, what's going on? Good to see you guys here. Let's go ahead and bring some people on. We've got some fun people to bring in. We've got Hava. Hey,
Hi.
how are you? Can't hear you.
Super quiet.
We'll give you a minute. Yeah. And now we've also got Chris Jenner. Hey, Chris.
She's muted.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm still getting my headphones set up. I'm having some technical difficulties.
Okay, I think I've got Hava. Looks like she's unmuted now. And here's Hellville. Hey.
Hello.
Okay.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Now?
Can you guys hear me now?
We've got Bruce from Oregon.
Hey.
Bruce. And our favorite IT Goatee Brad.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Woo!
Yay.
I feel so old. It really has been a hot minute since I've done this. Good to see you all.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah, it looks like Chris is muted, so maybe she stepped away.
She was getting her headphones situated.
Gotcha.
If you hear a little jingling, that is my adorable kitten just running around being a psycho.
Well, that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Squid, thank you. You're so sweet. I appreciate that.
Only to you.
Oh, thank you. Let's see. Give a second, see if we can get Chris in here. Let everybody kind of introduce themselves, and I guess we can start. BigJohnson, do you want to start?
Sure.
Introduce yourself a little bit.
How much of an intro would you like me to give?
Well, just, talk about yourself. How, what brings you here?
All right. Well, I'm here for you. I go by BigJohnson on here. My name's Tori. I've been involved in this case since the Sun article came out back in September. I've been on a few different panels, and I love seeing the community built from this case and what it's brought together. And these people on this panel are a big part of that community for me right now. So happy to be here.
That's awesome. Hava, you say it Hava, or is it? Am I saying that right? Can she hear me?
I don't think so.
Well, Bruce, what brings you here? How'd you end up here?
Wow. I'm Bruce from Oregon, and I'm in Oregon. Let's see. I am Dave Neal's moderator over on YouTube and Discord, and I started watching some of the Bachelor seasons back around 2019 on and off, and then full-time around the Katie Thurston era, which is kind of funny because I'm now also a mod for Katie Thurston. But that's kind of how I heard about the case when Dave made a YouTube video about it.
Okay. Well, so you did watch The Bachelor before this case kind of hit?
Yeah, I had an ex-girlfriend who was into it, and so I was sort of forced to watch some of it. And I'm like, what the heck's going on with this thing? And at some
Right.
point, there was the pandemic, and everybody's, nobody has anything to do. So I'm like watching the show, and I really wanted to understand. Like, there was some drama on one of the seasons, and I went to YouTube to see some of the commentary about the drama. And that's how I saw Dave making a video about it. I'm like, wow, this guy talks a lot, but it was interesting. And then I just started watching all his videos.
So you were watching The Bachelor before you met Dave?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
That's correct. Yeah.
Interesting. Brad, would you like to tell about how you got here? Uh-oh.
Brad,
Yeah,
you
I can't hear Brad either.
We've got one more coming in. We've got Hey Bales is here.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey.
There.
Am I in
You've
here?
had a rough day.
Now we can hear you,
My
Brad.
goodness. Yes, it has been rough.
Okay, so if anybody
know.
doesn't know, the Padlet, the timeline is
Do
down.
you guys hear me?
We do
I
now.
can hear you.
Because
Yes.
I don't hear Rosalind, but I hear Bruce. I heard Hey Bales.
Huh.
Can everybody chime in? Because I'm getting some of you and not
Yeah, I
Rosalind.
was getting some and not others.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Okay, Rosalind, who do you hear? Obviously Bruce
Yeah, I hear everybody.
and BigJohnson.
Yeah,
I hear
Squid.
everyone also.
Yeah, Brad, I can't hear for some reason.
Same. I couldn't hear Brad.
Brad.
I can't hear Brad either.
Brad, we can see you talking, but we can't
I
hear
can't
you.
hear her.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you for a second, Brad, but that was it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I can turn. Okay, I'm gonna fidget with the controls here for a second. See if I can help a little.
Does she know that? I don't think
I
she
could do it
knows.
like this, but I don't have buttons. But
We
so I
can
need to
definitely
figure-
hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Now I can hear Brad.
No buttons. What fun is that?
I know, right?
Brad without
But-
buttons?
So as I was saying, I was dragged here kicking and screaming from Megan Fox, but it was more like me dragging and her because her laptop from hell was not allowing her to stream for more than like an hour before dying. So I basically forced my way onto her stream to be like, just let me help you with your IT stuff. And then we raised money for her to get a proper streaming computer, and then we think we isolated that her mic may have been causing issues.
So wasn't the computer after all? It was the mic?
Yeah, it likely was the mic, but now that she's got a setup and dual monitors and all that, she's happy with the setup. It works.
Yeah, no, it definitely works.
Were you guys introducing yourselves before I at least started hearing Bruce? BigJohnson, were you talking before? Okay, I missed all
Yeah,
that.
I
Doesn't
was-
matter because live stream heard it. But did everybody already introduce themselves?
I'm Hey Bales. I run the Padlet timeline, but it just got taken down a few hours ago. So we're working on figuring that out.
Have they given an explanation of why it was taken down?
I didn't even get an email.
Wow.
I didn't
Perhaps
get a
more,
notification.
head.
Yeah, probably. But we have been in communication with Padlet about a month ago, where we warned them about Laura's litigious nature, and so they are aware, and so hopefully they turn it around quickly.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I missed it. So you did get it worked out or no?
No, not yet. It happened a couple hours ago. It got taken down, and it's after work hours, and so I guess they're off for the weekend. So it might not be back all weekend, unfortunately.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But they grease the wheels, which should make it easier for them to be able to attempt to get it back.
Yeah.
And they had backups, right?
Yeah. We've been backing it up like every other day, pretty much. So we have lots of backups. We have Excel sheets with all the information. So
Over prepared for a day like today. You got this.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's unfortunate, but
You got to be paranoid in this
we
kind of
push
case.
forward. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we push forward. It's all good.
So Hava, can you explain how you ended up here into this little
Sure.
mix?
Yeah, so I've been off on leave for a while from work, and I've kind of just been trying to figure out what I love and what I enjoy. And I was on YouTube one day and I was looking up the Gypsy Rose stuff, and I came across Nick Vile's podcast on Gypsy Rose, and then the next recommended one was Clayton's, which had just come out that day. And so I was like, I'm obsessed. I couldn't put it down, and I needed to find more. And so I found Dave Neal, and I found Reddit, and I lurked for a little while, and then I got a little too invested, and well, now I run a timeline. So I've never watched The Bachelor. I've watched Clayton's season since finding the case, but otherwise I haven't seen The Bachelor.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah, but honestly, watching Clayton's season was so interesting because I know that he was not a good bachelor, I guess, but I found him. I think I had a different view of him, so I didn't see that.
Yeah, I never watched The Bachelor. I don't watch reality TV. I really don't watch regular television at all. I obviously found this through actually first time I saw it was Law Talk with Mike. And then Megan started covering it. And that's kind of, what got me interested in the case.
It's been such a wild one. I feel like that no matter what point of the timeline you jump in on, it's easily hookable because it has so much shock factor on every step.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that there's just so many different components to the case, like all the pregnancies, but then the cancer and her being a podcast host and her dad's connections. I think it all ties in and just makes it even crazier.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. It seems just unbelievable, actually. And it's really hard to share with people this story because you lose them after you do the first two turns in the story. They're just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But is Chris back? Or I was trying to see if we could get some people to share. Hava, would you like to chime in? I don't think she can hear me.
Hava, can you tell us how you found the story?
Yes, but I can't hear half of you guys.
Oh.
So it's really weird. I can't hear Rosalind.
So weird.
Maybe refresh your browser.
You can pop out and pop back in.
Me out. I guess I have to leave, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't have to leave.
Just refresh the page, and then we can re-add you back in.
Excellent. See you soon.
Looks like Hellville and Chris are still muted.
I just didn't want to talk over anyone.
Oh, okay. So you want to talk about how you got involved?
Sure. I have been a fan of The Bachelor since like the first season. It's just such good trash TV to have on in the background while you're doing other things. And sorry if anyone's so obsessed with it and takes it super seriously that was offensive. So there was like some stuff going on, I guess, like outside of The Bachelor. And I started watching Dave Neal. And then like a few months later, I would say, all of a sudden, like he started reporting on this crazy story. And I was just like, what on earth is going on? Which is, I think, what everyone kind of is thinking. But no one else that I know is as obsessed with this. Because I don't know why other people aren't getting hooked in my circle the same way. So anyways, I'm like, oh yeah, well, I have a meeting with my online friends, except now some of you I've met in person. Yay.
That's nice. We'll get to that in a minute. Really want to kind of dig into that too.
I also don't think Clayton was a bad bachelor. I think that the producers did him dirty. That's my opinion.
That's their job, to make good TV, not actually show the person.
But they don't usually sacrifice the lead. Usually they sacrifice the people vying for the lead. But in Clayton's case, for some reason, and I think it might have been the first time they ever did it, they sacrificed the lead.
That's
I agree.
Interesting.
Good insight.
Hava, you want to talk about how you got involved?
Yay, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Saw a headline. Deadbeat Bachelor Clayton. I think I'd watched bits and pieces of his season, but I didn't watch the whole thing. I think I saw how it ended, the end, you know. So just peripherally involved, although I'm a huge Bachelor fan. I haven't watched in the last handful of years, but no, I watched bits and pieces. So I saw that headline and I went, I don't know. Clayton was such a sweetheart. I can't see that really being true. So and then I started seeing Dave Neal's coverage. I like to go deep into things. I like to see all sides. I like to really get to the truth of the heart of the matter. So immediately saw the insanity of the whole thing. So I'm kind of late to getting really deep into it, like watching the hearings and looking at filings. But I just watched the trial again, or the evidentiary hearing again today from Monday, and wow!
Welcome to the rabbit hole.
Woo!
Right.
Was
Wow,
it
indeed? Right. Squid, how did you get involved?
So I'm a mod for Megan's channel. I haven't watched The Bachelor since Trista and Ryan. I think that was like season 3. So I barely watch TV, and if I do, it's like History Channel and that kind of stuff. But I'm a mod for Megan, and she started covering it, and it's like this just rabbit hole of BS. Like every time you think it can't get any crazier, here we are. And
it does.
It's hard not to follow it. But then I talk about it to my real life friends, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? I have no idea.
Right.
I think we're all collectively fascinated by the psychology of it, really, at the heart of the.
I love psychology.
Yeah.
I'm so close to my degree, or a minor in psychology, that like all I want to know is what's going on in her head.
Yeah. My mother was a psychotherapist, so I've been just kind of in my life too.
Oh, it looks like Lauren's rating us. Thank you, Lauren. When it comes to, well, we still haven't heard from Chris. Oh, Chris, you're here. Okay,
Hey.
Excellent. Can you, would you like to share kind of how you got involved?
Yeah, sorry I'm late. I'll always be there though, just 20 minutes late.
That's okay.
Yeah, I've been watching The Bachelor since high school. The first season I ever saw was actually with Courtney Robertson. So that was really awesome seeing her at the courthouse, because that was kind of like, me getting into it for the first time. And I've been following Dave Neal since the end of 2019. I think Claire's season was the second season of Bachelor that I watched with Dave. So yeah, I just was watching him daily, and then when the story broke, I don't remember Dave's first video that he did, but I remember the video where he was talking about Greg for the first time, and the story about how the dad was like, oh, it's fine, like just give her what she wants, and we'll deal with it after that. I was on a bus on my way to the dentist that day for like an hour, so it was a perfect situation to absorb all of the information. And I told my boyfriend like every day as it was happening, so he's an expert as well.
He's a trooper.
Yes.
How'd you get him hooked? I need to know.
Well, I was just telling him everything that was happening since day one, and So he just knew all of the facts, and you can't know all of the facts of this case and not be interested, you know.
I know, it's crazy.
True. Just
I think
figuring
he
out
just
the
came
facts
along
is the
because
hard
we had the
part.
pool, right?
Yeah, he loves putting his feet in pools for sure. I was getting pretty jealous actually because at Megan's pool, it seemed like Dave was just chopping it up with my boyfriend. They were just hanging out in the pool, and I'm just like, excuse me, I brought you here, like.
You're here to spend time with me.
He's the popular one. I always bring him along, and then everyone's like, wow, your boyfriend is so cool. We love him.
He was great. You were my favorite, though. I will tell you that.
Oh, thank you.
It was
I
so
think
fun
it's
sitting
so
next. It's fun
What was
sitting next.
that?
You know, I have a few questions I'd like to kind of go through. You know, a lot of you guys are like really invested, really involved in, you know, I don't know, the crew. We'll just call it that for now.
Yeah, I like it. The JFC crew, the team.
Was it a conscious decision to get involved, or did you just kind of like figure out that you just had to? Like,
oh, I was fired up. Yeah, sorry, go for it.
I was gonna say that I feel like I never like got involved. Like I never became part of the JFC crew. Like I was just following Dave every day, and things just, you know, snowballed and escalated, and I was just there for the ride. So,
I think that counts.
But there was never like an enrollment date, you know. It just I was just there.
Yeah.
right.
I feel like for me, like, I don't know. I just really like injustice infuriates me, and I just like I can see through bull crap really easily. And I was just like, this girl's lying about literally everything. There's no possible way. Like it doesn't line up with any kind of potential truth at all. So I was just like, I feel like I have to be involved in this community. And, you know, for the most part, I would say it's such an amazing community. Like everyone is so freaking nice. It's just really nice to, you know, be surrounded by such awesome people that also are so into this crazy freaking story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like I've found a community, which is awesome. I don't think the case. I think that I'm just very compassionate and I care. And so for me, seeing this happen to these men, it didn't make sense to me how that there wasn't going to be a criminal case like this. It didn't wrap in my mind. And so my big thing was I needed to I wanted to lay it all out and visualize it so that I could understand how it hasn't been taken seriously in court, and I still have not figured that out. So that's why I continue. I'm searching for an answer as to why this is still going on. So I hope I find it one day. Oh, sorry,
That's
guys.
fair.
The wheels of justice turn slowly, and it'll happen.
Slowly.
It'll happen.
Well, how about was it a conscious decision for you to like, you know, really step up and get involved?
Yeah, I know I told a few of you I just settled in a defamation case where I represented myself. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and I represented myself.
That's huge.
It was somebody with, and I'm going to say this very carefully, that there was a lot of psychology involved in the case. And I went public towards this person because I saw injustice. I'm leave it at that. So finishing that up and then following this case for the last handful of months, I had the space to like really dive in. So I'm now looking at Greg. Greg's next. So as we wait for Clayton's decision and she comes back with her orders, there's going to be a lot of orders. Yeah, so I'm already like eye on the prize, right? Getting all these orders of protection dropped. These guys really seeing the truth out there. I just love this community. It's so funny how it's just this little tiny little niche little corner of the interwebs where it's people that are just like truth. So it's been quite a pleasure too. So I'm a little late to the game, but enjoying the party. So yeah, I my hat's off to all of you that have been really putting your time and effort into this for quite a long time, and it's paid off tremendously. So yeah, thanks for having me.
BigJohnson.
I'm happy to meet you. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Meeting everyone in this has been so cool because it really just shows that, like, when something is wrong, we have the right vibe in us. Like, so many people want to see right, see justice in this, and it'd be so easy to not. It would have been easy to just keep scrolling, reading the article. It would have been easy to just like not continue to pursue this and pay attention. And it, without a doubt, it's been because of the attention given to it and all the effort put behind the scenes that we've gotten this far, or that they've gotten this far. I say we because it feels like it's a part of my life since we've been doing this for so long.
And you see why people don't speak up. Hello. You know, you see why people don't put themselves out there. Maybe Dave's looking at defamation eventually. What is she going to do with her time now that she's waiting? So, you know, that's why people don't want to put their...
She's going to take down the Padlet timeline while she's waiting. That's what's going to happen.
Apparently.
I want to be a fly on the wall. Don't you guys? I want to be a fly on the wall. And her little like...
I don't think I could take it. I don't think I could take being a fly on the wall.
Those girls have stories that should not be told.
Just reading her blog post makes me want to pass away. So I could not imagine having to be in a room alone with her.
I think it was like crazy that like kind of towards the beginning when she was writing these blog posts, I was just kind of, like I told Dave like 400 times in the chat, please stop calling them articles. Like
yes, me too.
There's no editorial. That is not an article. You know? And like finally people started calling them blog posts. So I feel like that's maybe my contribution to this movement.
Every little bit counts.
Yeah. They're unhinged and no one is checking it. And, you know, they're just allowed to stay up there, but somehow she's able to get everyone else's stuff taken down. She needs to be, you know, like those, I guess it's probably more in like movies and stuff, but when there's like a really, really bad hacker, and they like order the hacker to never have touch of a computer ever again. I feel like she needs that.
I feel like she needs to be in a padded room with no one else around. And if there is somebody else around, there needs to be cameras.
She needs to spend some time off the grid.
Yeah.
Who's that guy that he just got jailed? Sam from the FTP scandal. Now he's, I don't know how many years he's in prison for, but that's the worst thing you could do to him is take away his internet.
Coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bruce?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it was a conscious decision?
I've been modding for Dave since he covered the Johnny Depp trial on his second channel, which kind of blew up. So those live chats were kind of wild. So he needed more mods. And we hung out a few times at comedy shows and everything. So, you know, we're pals now. So I have no choice. I mean, I'm here whether I like it or not. But in general, I mean, to me, you know, I work in engineering. So I like science. I like engineering. I like logic. I'm not a lawyer, but my uncle is. So when this case comes up, I just look at it like a huge puzzle with a lot of pieces that need to be put in place to understand what's going on. And it's not only a case that's a huge puzzle with missing pieces, it's a puzzle where somebody's literally trying to steal the puzzle pieces or give you fake puzzle pieces. So I just approach it from sort of this weird logical problem solving, you know, mentality. But in general, I just want to try, you know, because Dave was sued as well. So, or there was court action against him. So that really fired us up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't
I'm the
even
same way too.
Well, with like with you guys all, this feels huge. Just the Echard Owens case. I can't imagine what Depp Heard was like.
I remember watching the LawTube coverage of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and that was wild just in that, because I think Nick had 100,000 people watching him during that.
Right.
And Emily D. Baker had like 34,000 just on a random
she
screen.
outranked Law and Crime, right? Like she had
I think
more
everybody
viewers
outranked
than they
Law and
did.
Crime.
Yeah, I was watching Tug and Popcorn, watching Andy, Popcorn Planet, Law and Crime. Of course, I was knee deep in my own defamation lawsuit. So I was like watching, and I was in depositions, and it was crazy. It was so much fun.
It's been a wild ride.
Yep,
for sure.
I didn't watch that. I did not watch the Depp Heard trial. I don't know. It was just too in everyone's face constantly, and it just drove me crazy. But I would imagine that like the community of people watching that case probably was a much, much, much larger community, and this is like a super small community. So I feel like we all kind of know each other a little bit. Maybe not all, but many of us kind of know each other a little bit. So it's nice to have that kind of vibe.
Halville, was this the first court case that you've ever followed?
Well, I followed my own court case, but aside from that, yeah, I've always watched like Law and Order and stuff, but yeah, I guess that does not count. This is the first real life
one
I followed. Yeah.
I've always been a true crime fan, but I feel like the first time I ever got into like court stuff was actually when I was in 7th grade. I had this video game called Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney for Nintendo DS. Anyone heard of that or played it?
Oh yeah.
No, I haven't.
Just Brad.
I played Nintendogs.
I played that one too. But you play a defense lawyer, and you're like helping
Phoenix
solve
Wright.
crimes, and you're doing like detective work. So this is just, the real life version of that. So ever since I was 13, I was grooming myself to be a vigilante, as Dave called it. And so, yeah, I've always been fascinated in court. In high school, for my government class, we actually went to a courthouse to watch, just to view different cases that were going on. It was a small class of us that went, like 10 of us teenagers. And one of the rooms we went in, it was hilarious, actually. It was this guy who he was a sex offender, and he was in trouble because he didn't register, because you're supposed to register every year and like update your address with your local authority. So he didn't do that. So he was in the room, and it was a tiny room, like way smaller than Jane Doe's room. And it was just all of us in there, 10 kids and a sex offender who didn't want people to know he was a sex offender. And he just like turns around and he asked the judge, he's like, can you make them leave? And the judge was just like, no, this is how it works.
This is a public case, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, humiliation is sometimes that's part of the consequence.
Well, I feel like that's what Laura's aim was for Clayton, but she didn't realize that, people actually care about justice, and we're not just going to have like an innocent man snowballed, because nothing ever matched up for like any of her stories. Nothing ever matched up. So like, I don't think she realized that it was going to come back and hit her in the face that hard.
And also Clayton was the worst person she could have chosen. Like, as far as the Bachelor Nation goes, the worst person, because of the incident that happened the year prior when, oh my God, my text. The thing that happened the year prior when he was accused of cheating on Susie, and he was able to prove himself. Sorry, my cat's not.
He's the most honest person that's ever been on that show. Like, to his own detriment, he has never lied that we could possibly know of. Like, he's always told the truth to his own potential.
Brutally honest.
Yeah, brutally honest.
Yeah.
And
It's
so,
pretty-
why pick him? why pick the most honest person ever? Like, his credibility is like 1,000,000%, and hers is 0.
He said that on the stand. He was like, I'm the last person to, not admit who I've slept with. And that's exactly what I was thinking when I first heard about the story. When I was on that bus listening to Dave talk about Greg's story, I was just like, there's no way Clayton's lying about this. Like, why would he go through the trouble of causing all of this drama, all of these lies? Like, he doesn't care. He would be like, yeah, slept with her. Oops. Like, why would he lie about it? I was like, telling. I know he's not Tristan Thompson from the beginning. I knew he wasn't lying.
No.
He would have.
I don't think the content of his character was what she even considered when she went after him. Her style is wealthy tall men with clout.
Religious
and the religious aspect of it. She targets her men by how they'll fit into her manipulation plan. And unfortunately, Clayton fit that mold. Unfortunately for her, he had more fans than like diehard fans or non-fans like myself who just don't like women being shady, that her going public backfired.
Right. I mean, to be fair, I don't like
his Instagram video on Instagram with the 3 of them, Mike and Greg, where he's saying,
that was epic.
In your thoughts.
Powerful. That was incredible.
She has a freaking type. I asked Mike, Mike, like, so what is it that sucked you guys in to this woman, right?
Yeah, really.
And it was always financial, right? There was the radio show. She always targets them with real estate, some financial hook in, which it still doesn't answer, like, okay, so you meet her and you still, so they didn't answer that question.
Yeah, but I think it's the gaslighting. Like, she's so lovey until,
I can't imagine her ever being lovely. Like, her voice is super annoying.
I really don't get it. Yeah.
She talks 9,000 miles a minute. She's just generally an annoying human, and she always has to be right with everything she says. So I would just call her bullshit immediately. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse.
They did, yeah.
I know my voice isn't great, but does it hurt to talk like that? Like,
all the
does
time.
It physically at the end of the day?
Maybe it was probably the crusty Claytons that messed up her throat. Gargle that, see what happens.
I think it was bad before then.
It's always one BJ for each baby.
So I had a question here, like, had you ever had any doubts about this case? But I guess I'm getting the feeling that there were never any doubts.
At the point that I came in, there wasn't.
Actually,
the too late.
I thought, like, wow, Clayton's a piece of crap. Like, I did not realize that he would do something like that. Like, he didn't seem like that kind of guy. And then, like, a minute and a half later, I'm like, wait a minute, her whole story does not add up. And then Dave started saying the same thing, and then everyone else started saying the same thing, and I'm like, okay, cool, yeah.
Even in the past month, I've been like, is it possible that we're just wrong on something? And it's just, and then I go back through the evidence, and I was like, no, there's no way.
And then she perjures herself again.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, we're right.
My take is
the lies from Monday.
Megan's going to be making.
We tried counting. We didn't get very far. We got like 3 minutes in, and we lost count of the lies.
Yeah. I just
did try.
Trial
We're
today,
waiting for the transcript,
and it was a lot.
Yeah, she did her usual thing. It's like, I'm just going to flip the script. I'm just going to say something completely off topic, like nothing you've ever heard before.
It totally changed the story, and then you have to go investigate that.
I'm surprised that the judge didn't kind of like say, okay, she's asking you yes or no questions. You have to answer in yes or no. And if you answer anything besides yes or no or I don't know, then you're not allowed to talk for the rest of the case. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
There was a warning.
There was.
There was a warning there.
And she also ruled her non-responsive.
She also didn't follow through on it, though. She said, ma'am, you have to answer this way. And she said it again, and then she still wasn't answering yes, no, or I don't know. So, like, I don't know why that did not come into play. I think it would have been really great for all of us to see her thrown in prison for the night. That would have been excellent.
Mona has to balance that line between being too aggressive with Laura, and I mean she can only direct her how to behave. If she acts too aggressive, then that just gives Gringus ammo to turn around and say it was an unfair trial or hearing. So she has to weigh in and try and keep a balance. But man, there were times where it's like the patience Mata has is just heaven.
Yeah, I had this hope that there was going to be an arrest on the court steps as they walked out. That was I was just really, really hoping for that, but it didn't happen.
Well, funny enough, too, there are no steps at that courthouse. It's just
well,
there's a curb.
It definitely wasn't going to happen.
Hold off the curb.
Yeah.
Hold off the curb.
Ever heard past Dave's van? Oh my God, that would have been so epic.
That would have been
Thanks
nice.
for ruining my dreams, Helva.
We would have had some scones for the cops on that one, I think. But going back to the original question,
Mata knows from all the stupid things that Gingers has filed that no matter what she rules on this case, they're appealing. Even if she gets they're still appealing.
The appeal is going to be turned down right away.
Judge Mata's dad in the parking lot afterwards, and I asked him, like, well, what did you think? He was like, I got to show you something. So he whips me papers in his hand. And did anybody, I haven't been online really today, but did anybody, I saw kind of briefly that it was denied, this request for findings of fact and conclusions of law and proposed findings.
That wasn't denied.
That was not denied. Okay. So anyway, did anybody get a copy of this? He was saying, Julie told me this is just you, Dad. You got to read this, and printed out a copy for me. So,
it's on the docket. Yeah,
it's on the docket.
Anybody can read it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was his last-ditch effort after the pre-statement trial or the pre-trial statements, and then
she printed out for him.
Yeah, then the Corey Keith came in with some truth, and then he came in with a fact finding because anything he says is a fact must be a fact, and she must find it true.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, there was one moment when she ruled against his objection, and he was just like sat there staring her down. I was like, wow.
I liked when at the beginning of Woodnick's, when he was asking Clayton questions, I liked that he was like, so we're going to take your pre-trial statement as fact, right? Why didn't they do that with Laura?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, because they could have saved a lot of time, I feel like.
It's up to her lawyer to do that, which there's so many lies in it, so why would he?
Well, yeah, true.
I think, too, because she wouldn't answer in yes or no, maybe my punishment as a judge would have been like, anytime the lawyer is finished asking a question, I'm stopping the clock and I'm starting it on your end until you're done.
That would have been great.
Yeah, that would be very fair.
So I want to tell you guys, in watching the hearing again, when everyone's like, why did they give her a break? Why did they let her take a break? Why did they break? Judge Mata says, and it was exactly halfway through the hearing, Judge Mata says this is a great time for a break because she had said at the beginning, we're going to break for 10 minutes at some point. So it was an appropriate time to break. It wasn't giving her any advantage. And
I disagree.
You did? Yeah, tell me.
It broke Deandra's streak she had going. She was in the middle of a cross-examination. She was making Laura feel uncomfortable, which is exactly her job. That's her freaking job, is to catch her in lies. And I think that was complete bull to cut her off like that. I think that she should have said, okay, once Deandra is finished with her cross-examination, then we'll take a break.
Yeah. True, but she fell apart again. The JFC group part. So she keeps telling.
I feel like it should have been a 5-minute break, so that if anything happened with Clayton on the stand and he needed a break, I feel like he should have been allowed to get that.
Yeah, I agree. Great idea.
Yeah, there's a reason why they give both teams in basketball or football timeouts.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And Clayton, as Judge Mata has seen, is the victim. So going on the stand is going to be harder for him than her going up there and lying about it. So it's just crazy to me that she let her take that 10-minute break and not.
Yeah, but Clayton didn't
not save it for Clayton.
I mean,
I disagree.
I
disagree.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I disagree. I think it would have been great to continue questioning her, but I feel like usually in court, no one wants the person on the stand to be in so much distress that they're saying like, I just can't continue because that's going to slow down the whole process. Afterwards, I'm just going to keep calling him Gingrich because I don't care. Afterwards, Gingrich could be like, oh, you were would you say badgering? Because I know badgering like a witness is a thing, but he would claim that she was being harassed on the stand, and that could, go into something else. So it's usually in the best interest of the court altogether to just make sure that no one gets to the point where they're, having a tantrum and saying they don't want to be on the stand anymore. It doesn't make the lawyers look good. Because then the opposing party can just argue like, oh, they were bullying them on the stand. Also, if she's answering things in distress later on, she could be like, well, I was feeling pressured, like I couldn't think clearly. She was making me emotional. And we want
she could use it in appeal.
Yeah, we want all of her answers to seem like, she is fully in control of herself when she's giving testimony. But I agree, it would have been great to, continue to see how she reacted to the quick fire questioning.
Yeah, I think the 5-minute break would have been best.
Badgering a witness would be like belittling them while they're on the stand and being, very loud. But what DeAndre was doing was confronting the star witness with her own statements, and
the
a judge
is, though,
would not.
Harassing for Laura.
Yeah, I mean, she'll claim everything's harassing because she thinks she's right in everything that she does. So the problem is that when she's being confronted, it's like, no, I didn't do that. It's like, yes, you did do this.
We have it on camera. You literally said it, ma'am. Ma'am, you said it. Here. I could pull it up.
Like I've said it before,
she just
and I'll
doesn't
say
like
it
being
again.
questioned, and you can tell like she's never been questioned really by the way she responded.
She's never been questioned like in a continuous line. She's always isolating people and telling them small chunks of stories so that no one can ever piece her story together. I was talking to Reality Steve, and he mentioned like, yeah, I wanted to have her on my podcast. I think that if I were to just talk to her and question her, that, she wouldn't be able to get out of her lies. I would make her explain everything. And I do not believe she ever planned on going on his podcast. I don't believe she ever plans on doing anything she tells people she's going to do. I think she wants to dangle a carrot in front of people and be like, look, I'm offering you this because I'm so gracious. And then once they do something that, makes her look bad, or they start finding out she's lying, she takes the carrot away and she's like, you know what? I'm so offended by you. So that's it. It's off the table and it's all your fault. She's done that so many times. She did that with multiple podcasters. So she said she was going to go on their stream. She did that with the real estate. You can see in the text messages, she was going back and forth. She was wishy-washy, which is why Clayton didn't want to continue because he knew she was going to pull the carrot away. She did that with Mike, with his real estate. I think she probably did that with the situation where she was having the producer email Mike saying that he was going to be a part of some like radio talk show. I believe that the way that ended up is she probably said that he made her mad for some reason. And then she probably said, I called the producer and I told him that we're not going to do it anymore. Just to, she wants to build up this giant house for someone and make them really happy and show them the house and say, you're going to move in here. Like, aren't you happy? And then she wants to demolish it right in front of them. And she enjoys punishing her victims when they see their future like smashed to pieces right in front of them.
Yeah, I saw that. That's what I saw. And, in talking to Clayton, he was just like, I just don't understand this. I was like, because you're not vindictive.
Yes.
You have to understand, like, she's accusing you of doing things that she's willing to do because she's going to project that vindictiveness onto you. And I'm glad that he can't understand it. When you start to connect with it, you might be guilty of it, right?
And then the confounding piece of this is that these people believe their lies. They get to a place where they believe it. And so you're kind of met with this, what can you do with someone like that? You know, that's why it's going to be interesting to see what the judge orders. Mental health? Is that a possibility? Mental health?
I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's in her purview.
Yeah.
I think she
I
might be.
so.
Might be with the restraining order. It might be.
She needs proper prison. Like, honestly, I don't think that. Seriously, I don't think that like any kind of mental health facility can straighten out someone who's just such an asshole. Like, honestly,
I agree.
Not a narcissist. That's the confounding part. That's the confounding.
And they don't think they need to change. So nothing is actually going to be useful or helpful except for being punished and facing consequences for their actions.
Yeah. The hospital staff don't want to deal with her. As a nurse, I can say we don't want to deal with her. Like, she doesn't want to change, and no medications are going to help her. So if she doesn't want to change, she needs to be in jail.
No self-awareness, no change.
And she also needs to have cameras on her because she'll claim that the guard got her pregnant.
I want to say, Hava, you and like others have mentioned that that you believe that she starts believing her lies after a while. I do not think she believes a single lie that she says. I absolutely do not think that. There's no way, because she makes up lies. She wore the belly bump. If she thought she was pregnant, why is she wearing a belly bump? I think that she tells so many lies that she can't keep them straight because she's very impulsive. Like, you can tell when she's on the stand and in the court videos when she was getting grilled by Deandra, she starts going, I don't know, that was one thing and I took it away. That was just for one day, and she starts like ranting and getting really amped up and just saying all these things impulsively. And during the trial, she started saying, when she was talking about the results of the DNA test where it said no fetal DNA, that's exactly when Gingras did the timeout, because she was contradicting her prior testimony. She was saying little to no fetal DNA. But before that, she had said the test was ongoing. So that's why he was like, and he was doing this. He was like, stop.
But
Because
she had already contradicted several other things she said in previous testimony as well. So she was already caught in several perjuries before the timeout moment. But it's interesting how the second he gave the timeout movement, she suddenly, her voice started getting quivery and the JFC crew setting.
Well, let me clarify. Let me clarify what I mean by believing her lies, because it's not lies plural. When you look at the sociopathy of it, there's the original lie that's the core belief, and everything else supports that core belief that I was pregnant, right? So it's
so everything she does is just
to support the first
means to an
it
end.
just supports it's means to an end.
Look at her scheme.
This
Look
main
at her
idea.
scheme. The scheme stays the same. The details stay the same. The OPs stay the same. The order of things stay the same. So there's this hook for her that it's always the truth of the pregnancy and the.
So if she wears a baby bump, is it like rationalization of, oh, this other thing is true, and I just need to convince everyone it's true because I think it's true? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
Even though you're lying in the moment, but maybe the original idea is what you believe.
Everything justifies the means because I'm proving.
I think she believes she's the main character in the life, and therefore she. You know, anything she says is
perfecting
true.
the script.
That main character syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. She just keeps doing the same thing.
Munchausen about pregnancy.
She's horrible at documents. Please use Photoshop. Don't use Adobe Acrobat. What the fuck?
Adobe Arts and Crafts. I love it.
Jeez.
I mean,
Acrobat's pretty efficient considering, but Illustrator's a little better.
Yeah, it is for PDFs because you can change the you can edit PDFs, change the word.
It recognizes the font, so it's easier to replace font. Well, that's a whole nother. We'll go down a rabbit hole there.
There's no way more than me about all this.
Like, if you guys had to say, like, how many people do you think are involved in the JFC crew? Like, what ballpark?
like JFC crew like following the case.
What's the criteria for that?
Well,
yeah,
you got to start with looking
Help me
at
define it, because I don't know that I really understand, because we've got subreddit, we have
Patreon.
Yeah, I
Discord,
think we're all a community,
Patreon,
because like I'm on Reddit,
yeah.
I'm on Patreon, I'm on Discord. I feel like I'm part of all those communities, but I feel like I'm not even part of the JFC movement. I feel like I'm fighting for justice, and I'm on the side of justice. So if Laura came around and said, like, if it was proven that it was all true, then yeah, okay, like that'll change my mind. It's not so much that I'm part of a group. I found a
crazy
community
Clayton
that's
cult.
awesome. That's yeah, exactly. I found it, but I don't think it's a. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a part of the JFC crew. I don't even know what that is. I heard it was a cult, so
The way
I'm not down to be a part of the cult.
I'm not religious.
Okay.
So
There's nothing
Neither.
called the JFC crew. Like, there's literally
Yeah.
nothing called that. It's just
It's
a
the
label,
Justice
right?
Crew. We can call ourselves that if you want. Like
Yeah.
the crew of truth.
Give us a
Yeah.
million labels. It all summarizes the same thing. Whether you're on this case because of Reddit or YouTube or the Patreon or Twitter, or because of you're personally in Arizona, whatever reason you're there, if you're following this case because you think that Clayton, deserves to win and Laura needs to have consequences for what happened, that's all one side. You can call us whatever the hell you want. That's all one team. And
doesn't
there's
even
little
have a
sub
team.
armies in there, but it's just the team who wants what's going on, like wants justice.
Sums it up.
I think it shows that we don't take anything personally, like being called pawn scum and stuff like that, that we're not a cult, but we're actually just a community that's fighting for justice.
Yeah. Chris, you said it, vigilante.
Not a
said it
single.
yesterday. Vigilantes, they kind of move on
I
their
was
own
quoting Dave. Dave said that today.
vision. Yeah.
Well,
I
Megan.
feel like though that it's interesting and very telling that there's literally no one speaking up on her end. Not a single
Mhm.
person besides her
Yeah.
psycho attorney.
Yeah.
Megan
He's
was
getting
Her
talking.
mom's not even speaking up.
He's not speaking
Yeah.
up for her because of anything. I mean, he's being paid. So I think that negates any reasoning behind why he would speak up for her. But yeah, friends, family.
Like literally no one has come to her defense. Not a single person besides people she's paid.
Just
Well,
to
Mhm.
Except for her
mom,
catfish
who's implicated.
accounts.
Yeah, her catfish accounts don't count.
All the alts. All the alts.
All the alts. No
Did anybody see her
Yes.
face? We could see her face in the courtroom. Did anybody see her face when Clayton talked about her mom calling him?
I didn't see
No.
her face.
I didn't see her face.
Yeah,
Did
there were
Clay-
moments where we could see her.
Did Clayton mention the mom calling him in his testimony?
Yes.
On
Yeah, I
Monday?
was thinking of a hearing. Oh my God, it's all melding together. Was it Monday?
There's a baby.
Yeah,
I don't remember
Sorry.
anything from Monday about the mom.
Okay.
Oh, baby.
he did. He mentioned it Monday.
Did
Well,
he?
He did.
No, he did. He did. He definitely did. It was very quick because Greg was going rapid fire because they had no time.
It was so fast.
It was so fast, but he
It was
did
amazing.
mention it. It was about a quarter of a second, but he mentioned it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Megan was asking what Jan's face was doing, and I didn't really see her making many faces. There were some surprised faces, but not
I
much.
heard
She was-
about the surprised faces. I wonder was she surprised by Laura's testimony or someone else's testimony?
yeah,
Maybe
that's
about how tight her vagina was.
watch what we
So
watched.
sorry. Was I not allowed to say that?
I was watching Laura's face the whole time. Like, I was not watching Jan's face. I'm very interested for the team's footage to come out.
Yeah,
Because
okay,
Yeah.
it will. Good.
yeah, because I think it's been foiled already by Megan and everybody else, but
Good.
it's just like obviously like the angle Jan was not even in it most of the time.
Yeah.
I don't think the camera ever really panned to her, maybe once or twice, but like
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
and not a knock at all on Lauren. According to Megan, literally like they had to be in one corner. They weren't allowed to be near plugs. They weren't allowed to stand up. There's so many rules, and I just
They're not
can't
used to
believe
it.
that.
They weren't used to that kind of need for media, and which was insane. They had no outlets. Yeah.
But Megan was saying that they did have outlets by the juror box, which was empty, and they easily could have just put them at the juror box, which would have been a better view anyway.
Oh, I think you're saying
they wouldn't let them go in there, and it's just so weird. Why would they do that?
Well,
It
you know,
feels like a really
what is
strange
it?
day at court.
99% of the time, this courtroom is used for family court cases where they're not going to film any of it because they're talking about kids, they're dealing with family issues. They don't want to film or broadcast any of that. They really needed a completely different type of courtroom for this case, honestly.
Borrow one of the criminal courtrooms.
I think
Can
they
we
should
talk
have changed
about-
the invitation when they realized how many people are like interested in coming. They should have gotten a bigger courtroom that had outlets.
Can we talk about the overflow room? Because did you guys
Yes.
hear Megan say that she heard there was one-to-one undercover cops in that room?
I heard him say
Supposedly.
that. What on earth?
My
Yeah.
gosh.
Is that true?
I hadn't heard that.
Well, so the entourage with Laura included a person. He has a blue shirt on and a belt buckle. I believe that was a private bodyguard. I don't know if that was an undercover cop acting as or a retired cop acting as a bodyguard, but he was clearly a bodyguard. Got to sit right next to the jury box, if not in it. So that's all I know about that.
Well, no one wants to touch that body, that's for sure.
That's why I heard they put us in the
Apparently
overflow
some people did.
security. I'm sure that they requested we not be in there. And I think she was referring to us in the overflow room. It's the JFC crew. Because there was nobody in the courtroom. We were in the overflow.
They were on the other side.
There were 5 people.
Yeah.
It was Greg's family that
Yeah.
that where Greg's family was.
And when she admonished the court, we thought it was us. Remember? We thought it was us that she heard.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
in the
did.
overflow room.
We
Oh, wow.
screamed. Everyone in the room screamed.
Guys,
The
how many people
overflow
were in
room
the
was
overflow
rowdy.
room?
We couldn't help
Well,
it. The lies.
How many people were in the overflow room?
I thought like 30-ish.
Like 30-ish, yeah.
So
35.
there's 30 people in the gallery and there's 30 to 35 in the overflow room.
It wasn't 30 people in the gallery. It was even less.
They counted up
less.
the people, and it was
Yeah.
darn close.
And
They were
Megan
Only four people got in.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe 60 people total between the two rooms.
So
Is that about
according to
right?
Megan, they would only allow 30 people in the courtroom, which means
Oh,
judge,
okay.
her assistants, the court
That includes
reporter,
everyone,
everyone.
like a fire code. Or something.
Yeah.
But Megan
Half the
said
courtroom
usually
was
in those
empty.
counts, that's not how it goes. She said usually in the counts, the other people that are involved are already like taken out of the count. So like when you say the amount of seats available, you're talking about after you get in all the victims and everyone else that's involved.
Laura must have called ahead of time.
Yeah, I
she-
think so. I think it was secured.
She probably had
Security
parte
issue.
education. Yeah, exactly. Everyone wants to kill me.
No, they just want you off the internet.
And we just want you in prison. We don't want to kill you. We want you to live a very tortured life because you've tortured so many.
Accountability.
I don't know. Some people are too nice about it. Personally, I'm just like, no, she needs to be punished.
I've got some questions for you guys.
Oh, Rosalind, we can't hear you.
Ooh, Rosalind?
Rosalind, are you muted?
Rosalind, I can't hear you.
She's not muted, but we can't hear you.
I muted myself.
Oh, there we go.
Girl. Now you're back.
I don't want anything bad to happen, or I don't want to be mean to her. I mean, she obviously needs help. She does need consequences. I think that's obvious. But to me, the thing that stood out, and I still laugh about it every time I hear her say content creators, and I was like, sweetie, you're the content creator. We're just covering it. You just won't stop making content.
Yeah.
So like if you guys are like, what kind of involvement do you guys feel like that you provide? Like, are you guys doing research? Are you doing cheerleading? Are you like what do you feel like is your role?
I Photoshop a lot lot of great memes.
Oh,
I'm the graphic design part of the story.
nice. And I know BigJohnson definitely does some research.
Doc running. That's how I feel like I can be the best contribution to this as I pick up court documents.
Yeah.
Tug and Megan were talking about what's next, and it was, working on Megan or Greg's case, and she said, "You want to help me?" So I like to make myself available to whoever needs, kind of at the head of the beast, kind of. So I'm available for whatever needs to be done.
Well, and that's one of the things that stood out to me in meeting all of you is just that the level of collaboration that goes on.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Do you guys feel like it's working, or why do you think it works as well as it does?
Same goal. I mean,
yeah, I think it's the same goal, but I also think that there's a kindness in this community, and I think that is something that we all want to share with each other, and and there's so much, I think, nastiness in this case that kindness shows so much more. And I think that's what makes me want to keep going and keep pushing. And so, yeah, we don't have 2 new timelines, but we did have 2 new timelines come out for Greg and for Mike. And we're ready to keep fighting and keep pulling things because we need justice for them. And I love this community. I'm not ready to leave.
Well,
I love that.
Of everyone I've talked to one-on-one and exchanged personal experiences and stories with, there's something about this case that we have all experienced personally and actually relate to. I'm a fucking cancer side. I'm dealing with a stalker right now. I have these things that it's like, wait, this is my real life that I can see you doing to these men and manipulatively hurting them. And we all have enough pain and negativity just existing in this world. Life is just hard. So to see someone going out of their way to make life harder for people, really, I think fired up this community of we're motivated to see that stop. There's all this other crazy going on in the world. We don't need this one individual, this tiny little existence causing all of this pain. Yeah. Literally, the story is now hit across the country, but across states of the people whose lives she's affected. I think that's what really kind of motivated a lot of all the people who contribute.
I agree. My mom is a narcissist, and so I recognize all of these manipulative tactics, and it just really grinds my gears, which is maybe why I am so I need her to be punished. Maybe that's not the nicest thing to say, but maybe part of it is that I'm trying to vicariously punish my mom. I don't know.
That's powerful. I mean,
that's
I
fair.
gotta talk to my therapist.
Silver lining.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you can go. Hey, Bales.
I was just saying that with being off of work and everything and my mental health being really bad, I found that once I found this case and found that passion, it's actually really helped my mental health. It's given me that drive to get up and do something and make a difference in somebody else's life. And so it's actually, I don't want to say, but it's helped my mental health, which is crazy.
Well, wouldn't you guys say that's what we're on this earth to do, is be of service? Just love and be of service. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Spread goodness.
Right.
Yeah, I was going
to
say, kind of agreeing with what you were saying. I definitely have been wronged multiple times in my life with injustices. A couple of my exes, like I said on Dave's stream the other day, they were really psychotic, and they're pretty narcissistic, very similar to how Laura is. And the first one, actually, this is when I was 23, 24. He actually drugged me with mushrooms without my knowledge. Yeah, we went to a bar with my roommate and her boyfriend and a couple other friends. And before we went out, actually, he had spent the night. Oh my God. Sorry, my cats keep scratching my couch. This may have been another time, actually, but it's still bad. He spent the night berating me in front of my roommate and, just talking crap about me in my own living room in front of my roommate and her boyfriend. And he was talking about me as if I wasn't there. He was like, "Isn't Tala so annoying? She's the worst. Isn't she just super uncool and lame?" And it was just so humiliating that my roommate wouldn't even stand up for me. her boyfriend wouldn't stand up for me, and I just like sat there and like I couldn't even cry. I just like stood so still. And then this probably was another time, but we had all gone out to the bar together, and you know, we weren't doing anything rowdy. Like we were there for probably an hour. I had literally one beer. I don't even know if I finished it. And then when we got back to his house, I was like starting to feel funny, and I was like, I feel really weird. Like my skin feels warm. Like the colors are vibrant. I mean, it looked like this. Like the colors were like breathing, and he was just like, oh, I don't know, that's so weird. And it turned out when we got back, he had given me a cup of tea, and he was like, do you want some tea? And I was like, sure. And so he gave me a tea that he put mushrooms in at like 8 p.m. And I don't know if anyone here has done like mushrooms or hallucinogens, but you don't sleep when you do that stuff. And I had tried it before once, and I had a really bad time. So I told him, like, that's not something I'm interested in. Like, I never want to do it. I told him I was really uncomfortable with it. And he just decided that he didn't agree that I was uncomfortable with it. And he wanted me to be on mushrooms and to have a good time. So he drugged myself, and he also drank tea. And so he started to pretend that he was drugged. And he was like, yeah, like I'm feeling weird too. Like maybe the bartender slipped something in our drink. Like maybe someone else at the bar. Like that's so weird. And it wasn't until months later that I don't even know why, but he confessed to me that it was him who had given me the mushroom tea, and like that's why. And he was like, yeah, I just, you know, really wanted to have that experience with you, and I wanted it to be fun, and I didn't think you would have a bad time. And when you started saying that you were like having a bad time, and like I like started crying and having like a panic attack, obviously, because I didn't know what was going on. And he was like, yeah, I felt really bad, and so I was scared to say anything. So, you know, I just tried to comfort you and tell you I was in the same boat, which is like, that's psychotic. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's gaslighting.
Yes. And then the relationship ended with, multiple times he would try to break up with me, and then he would beg me to get back with him like an hour later. And then the last time he tried to break up with me, I was like, okay. I was like, sure. Like, if you don't like me, please don't date me anymore. And then he like was obsessively like, I don't know if he was like stalking me at first, but he definitely did stalk me at one point. It was like probably a 3-week period towards the end of our relationship. We only dated for like 7 months altogether. So it was a lot jam-packed into 7 months. But the last time I had seen him, he came to my work. I was working at a gym, and it was pretty late, like 9 or 10 p.m. and I was off at 11. He came to the gym, brought flowers, like a sicko. He said they were pink. They were purple. He was like, they're pink, like your favorite color. I'm like, first of all, these are purple, you sicko. And then I told him to get the hell out of here. I was like, get out. Like, I do not like you. Like, you're horrible and mean. And then I got home probably around 1 because I hung out with a friend after. He was sitting in front of my front door, just sitting on the ground. And then I was like, no, like, you need to leave. And he was like, please, like, can I please talk to you? Please let me inside. And he was just crying. And then I went inside, and he was just being ridiculous. And he followed me inside my house, and he literally jumped down on the ground. I can show you guys what he did. He jumped down on the ground, and he started banging his fists on the ground. He kicked off his shoes. He was like, no, please don't make me leave, please. And I was just like, oh my God. And so I was like, okay, well, if you're not going to leave, I'm going to leave. Bye. And I went out my house. I just walked out, and then he followed behind me, and he was like, please just let me stay the night. Like, I don't have anywhere to go. And I'm like, call an Uber. And he's like, well, my phone is dead, and I don't have a charger. So I have to stay at your house because I can't get home. And I was like, that sucks. And he was like, you're really going to make me sleep outside?
Yes.
I was like, sir?
The county jail has free lodging.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, the drunk tank, that will help you.
The histrionics remind me of the Facebook video that Laura put out. And imagine somebody doing what was in that Facebook video on a red-eye flight to Iceland. Like, it's the same thing as, like, you know, lying down and smashing your fists on the floor. It's just the histrionics are unbelievable.
The only person who's allowed to smash their hands on the floor and get away with it is a toddler.
Yeah.
Baby squid.
Agreed. Baby squid.
Mr. Squid is playing drivers and has his headphones on and can't hear anything. So here we are.
Steve called me a dumbass.
Right. That's one of my favorites. One of my favorite clips.
What is that from, you guys? Those snippets of her that you made. I know you used AI, but what is that from?
It was from her video she posted on Facebook.
It's not AI, it's her.
Yeah, it's not AI. That's her.
All of her posts. What are those? Is there a compilation?
Once I get the timeline back up, I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
I need a compilation of all her posts.
That is not. That's
Facebook
not
videos.
artificial. That is 100,000% real.
That's all of them.
Are you kidding me?
No.
No, the photos that you've seen that you think are her, those are Photoshopped.
Okay. Okay.
Everything she does is Photoshop. That's why she's
AI.
Adobe Acrobat, not Photoshop.
Adobe
When did she
Acrobat.
post that?
My bad. Acrobat.
When did she post it? December. I think it was December 20th, maybe.
Because I have it open.
Rosalind,
Is the timeline open? Oh, my hero.
I'm sorry.
I love to find Rosalind. You are so brilliant. I just went down the wormhole of Rosalind recently, and
I'm
my
sorry.
gosh.
you're so good.
If I have a bad day, I watch Rosalind and she just
So
makes
good.
me laugh. It's so
my
great.
God.
The How to Catch a Man video is the best.
Oh my God.
Lord's work.
Media from this whole thing is the How to Catch a Man by Lala.
Yeah, no, that one. I mean, she basically wrote that for me. I mean, it was so easy.
That was epic.
How about
the AI songs? They write themselves, right?
I wish
Well,
we
it's like
could
that.
have
It's like that late night cable television selling something on
Infomercial.
infomercial.
All right,
Brad, you
let's
want me to
do
share
a
that?
watch party for Hava for this.
Yes, watch the Prime
yeah.
I'm having such a hard time getting my mouse. I need to learn how to do the Brad mouse jiggle.
You don't need a mouse jiggler.
I had a jiggler.
Apparently I do.
before I came across this case.
I can't wait for the
Rosalind, you make it good again.
After you watch it once, it's hard to watch multiple times.
It's cringy.
It's hard.
It's so cringy.
Turn your
Like,
volume down
it's
a
like-
little.
My name
It's like Chris's story. It's hard to watch.
Turn your volume down if you can a little bit.
is Laura Owens, and I know that before I even started this video, people on Reddit, just by virtue of the fact that I'm speaking up for myself, have started threads about me where they're critiquing my looks, where I'm becoming a meme. And content creators like Dave and Steve are happy because they have something to talk about on their podcasts and YouTube channels tomorrow. So they have all of that. And what I have is what I feel like no privacy anymore. No reputation. No name.
Son?
And this is by no means a cry for help. I'm not suicidal right now. I'm not at all. I just feel like it's important for me to speak out and say that this is how I'm feeling as a result of what they've done to me. And this is how it looks like if you've been cyberbullied, as I have and mischaracterized for months. Since I became pregnant by The Bachelor,
By The Bachelor,
There-
remember that.
were two men who I have restraining orders against who contacted that Bachelor who contacted content creators, and they decided that it was free game to talk about my past. They said that I had done this before, and in saying that I had done this before, they meant that I had been pregnant before, which I have. I've been pregnant twice before, which is something that
Twice, not 4 times.
Oh, you've done fraud before.
I really didn't want to come out because I thought people would judge me for it.
Your audio
And
sucks.
people have already. I know they have. And I did have 2 abortions in the past, but
Where are the
it
tears,
was
Laura?
not their right to.
And then my dog stepped on a bee.
Yes.
I wasn't ready for that to come out.
Nobody cares if you've had an abortion, Laura.
Oh, it's a bee thing.
And I've been really harassed for it. Dave has made more than 50 videos and more like
You should have made
podcast
75.
content that I could possibly count talking about me.
I did.
Still no actual tears, by the way.
He specializes in Bachelor content, but what he's talking about has nothing to do with The Bachelor.
Except you said The Bachelor got you pregnant, Laura.
With me and my past, and shaming me for it.
Did anybody do a side by side of her and Amber Heard?
Yeah,
I'm
you got to
sending
do
it to Rosalind now.
Corey
Yeah.
has it.
I got it.
I feel like anything.
Judge and Amber Heard. That was funny.
You got to do a
Yeah, her
face more.
does go right back to normal.
Like anything.
Oh.
And I was like embarrassed or ashamed of. Like these 2 prior abortions have just been brought to light and have been like just things that have helped him monetize his channel.
Nobody cares if you had an abortion.
He was monetized before.
Called every name in the book. Steve has called me a
what?
dumbass. Fucking moron.
He's called you worse than a dumbass, Laura.
We all
have.
No. Honestly, if dumbass is the worst thing I've ever called in my life, I'd be great.
I don't even know where to begin with Dave.
What?
He said he would stop talking about me for $10,000. No, he wouldn't stop talking about me for $10,000, but then he would for $1 million.
No, he
And he
won't.
said that since he started to talk about me, that his monetization on his YouTube has gone up 4 times.
The math doesn't make sense.
No,
He said
Math
this on
ain't
his live
mathin'.
Patreon, which I have recorded, and then he denies it later. I've begged him
she admits to
to
paying for
stop
Dave's
talking
Patreon.
about me.
True.
When's the last time she brushed her
With
hair?
defamation lawsuits.
Yes, Rogue Mama. Still no
Nothing
tears.
stops him.
You can't stop the press.
And he's teasing that he's going to talk about
The fact that this was posted.
That's funny. Rogue Mama says
another event where
the
it
top
gets
half of her
crazy,
face
and
is
he said it.
normal. Like her cheeks are flush, but her forehead isn't.
That's-
Because he found
I think
out
that's fake. I think
about
that's blush.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
literally the worst
That's makeup.
thing that can happen to a person that happened to me in March
Nobody
of
has to move
2022.
their face that much when they're crying.
I was.
My kitten does not like her.
really don't want to talk about this.
Like a
You
flower.
don't have to.
He's going to talk about it if I don't.
No, he's not.
Well, not if I don't. He's just going to talk about it. He didn't say that. He just.
That's right. He didn't say that.
Talk about
That's
it.
correct.
How long does this go on for?
And it's better
6
for me
minutes.
to get
7 or
my
8 minutes.
side of
Woo!
this out.
And
for
she
me to tell the
posted this on
stories, and that's
Facebook
the only control
publicly.
I have anymore over.
Let me
over
keep
it.
messing up my hair more.
He telling it before he does on his fucking monetized channel.
She's
Would
only
you like it if
talking
you
to the
talked about it
whales
on a
and dolphins
non-monetized
now.
channel?
And the whales and dolphins don't want anything to do with her. Get the hell out of here, lady. You're trying. I can't hear you. La 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 la.
What'd you think, Hava?
What's your
Wow.
reaction?
So it wasn't AI. I just strategically clipped it so it looks like
have
AI.
to like morph their faces together, like a bee face. Morph their faces together. Oh my god, that was. I mean, you can't make this shit up.
I know.
Right?
Oh my god.
Right? She's the content creator. We just
Just
know her.
when you think it can't get any crazier,
I said it to a content creator, not the court.
You want to know something interesting? Like, I think around, what was it, like December or January or something, it seemed like a lot of people kind of like, or maybe it was a little after that, maybe it was like February or March, some people kind of like started losing interest, and there wasn't a whole lot coming out like every single day and stuff. And then like she puts out an article and everyone zones in on it. She puts out, or article, blog post. She puts out another blog post. Everyone zones in on it. It's like, if she would just be quiet, like literally no one would have anything to talk about. She just can't even help herself. She needs to lie more. She needs to victimize herself more. It's just this constant need.
And Hellville, here's where I shift back to agreeing with you. In watching that video, I'm changing my mind about the piece where she believes her lie.
Yeah, she does not believe shit.
Because that's so freaking put on. So it's just being caught in a lie, and you're just, I mean, when you look at how she dressed and the Ozempic and the look at how much weight I've lost because I used to be pregnant, but now I'm not. And the whole do a twirl. I mean, it's so manufactured.
I mean,
to prop up a lie.
But it's also like, just because you're anorexic now does not mean that you were pregnant then.
It's anorexia. I think it's
the other thing is,
I think it's a
she's
strategy.
making this. So we found that on her, she's made Facebook posts of selling things, right? And she's saying she's lost weight. Well, in those comments, people are saying, well, why does it matter that you've lost weight and you have to sell these things? And she goes, oh, well, I had a miscarriage, so I've lost a bunch of weight. And then people are like saying, I'm so sorry and stuff like that. So she's using this whole weight thing.
What are you talking about? What was that? Where was that?
She's selling
on
her
Facebook,
horse
on
gear.
where she's selling her boots and stuff. She's selling her
Dude, that
boots
totally confirms my theory that it was a whole strategy.
It is a whole strategy. I'm sure of it.
Because if she's so skinny now, she's definitely pregnant then. It still doesn't matter. You could have been pregnant. You could have not been pregnant then and still be having an eating disorder now. Like, it literally has nothing to do with anything.
You
know, when
and
you
she's
look
purposely
at
doing it, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and when you look at the images of her in the last year through the hearings, and whatever she's posting, the drastic change is really it's quite. And I'm not saying I may have sent a photo to somebody and they're free to do with it what they want, but the stark contrast between some of those hearings and now, it's really one of the photos I thought of her coming out of the courtroom. It's really quite dark, actually.
Well, in June of 2023, I think she was 122 pounds. And then in November, she was 133. So she gained 11 pounds in that time. And then all of a sudden now she's down to 91.
91.
So that's within a few month period from November until now, she's now down to 91 pounds. That doesn't prove that she was pregnant because she was at 122 before the pregnancy even started.
I've changed my mind. I think that her having an eating disorder now definitely means she was pregnant then, just as much as peeing on sticks 500 times proves pregnancy for sure. Same flimsy evidence style.
Right.
Yeah. But she has mountains of evidence. We've seen
so many mountains.
mountains and mountains.
In several versions.
I can prove that all day. She said that in one of the hearings. I have so much evidence I could prove that all day. Oh, really, ma'am? Because I don't think so. Where is it?
She keeps saying she has mountains of evidence, but like all she can say is a pee stick and an HCG test.
Yeah.
That's not a mountain of evidence. It's
one
like
HCG test.
Which anybody who's been pregnant knows that one HCG test ain't gonna do it.
Girl, I've never been pregnant, and I know that too. Also, I paid attention in health class. Yeah, blowjobs do not make babies.
Yeah.
I'm quite disturbed by the fraudulent medical documents and the notes that are coming from the fake doctors, because being a nurse, that terrifies me, knowing that somebody could be writing documents and signing my name, and then if it's taken into court, I could be coming into court and taken in question for the things that I wrote, which I didn't write. That's terrifying.
Yeah. But why have none of those medical professionals actually said, excuse me, I did not write that?
Yeah. Why have they been questioned?
I would love, well, yeah. So Megan sent press releases or press requests to every doctor that potentially had fake letterhead or whatever, or a fake letter. And she said that she never heard back from any of them. But my question is, why wouldn't they want to clear their name on this? Maybe they're waiting for a verdict. I don't know, but.
Well, I mean, think of it, if you're that doctor, unless someone has directly reached out to them, they're not going to hear about it. And say someone does, if I got an email that was like, hey, you should look into this Laura Owens chick, she falsified an email from you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is some weird spammy scam, and I'd get rid of it. Unless something in court came up or something that would threaten their livelihood or their medical license, I don't think they're going to get involved.
I think there's only, Quigley and McCool, the two doctors mentioned in all of these hearings and this hearing. I love it. Is everybody seeing the Laura Owens?
Yeah. What's the before picture?
I love it.
Was that the status conference?
The old timer. So
the one is I took in February, and then the others at this most recent hearing. So
she looks the same.
She's the same.
Her legs are the exact same size. I think the black was slimming. Looks like she has a waist trainer on. She probably did lose a little bit of weight, but I could also look like I've lost, 2 dress sizes just by not eating for a day and not hydrating.
I have some angles that are so much more just crazy looking.
Well, February and June are not going to be that different if she was never pregnant.
That's true.
She doesn't look different in the horseback riding things either, though. She looks just as skinny.
Wow, watching her jump while she's pregnant, and
I want to know why she's dressing like a
high-risk pregnancy,
a goth in high school in the Arizona and 110-degree heat.
Make her look skinnier.
I was wondering the same thing.
If you wear all black, just like Tug said, his daughter wanted to paint his nails black because he needs something more thinning in his life. that was her dress.
But the fact that she'd wear that in that heat, I mean, that is crazy. She's
when you have that wearing body fat, you need to cover up somehow. Like, she probably could die from hypothermia.
In Arizona?
Yeah, but not outside, 110 degrees, and she's in that.
But in a courtroom, she was going into a courtroom that might have been over air conditioned. I don't know.
That's true.
That's the one thing I would say that, she's maybe trying to preserve herself as far as that goes. But I mean, maybe just eat a hamburger instead.
I think she dressed like Wednesday because in the last hearing, I don't remember what she was wearing, but Dave jokingly described it as, she's got this Wednesday Addams getup. And I think she really took that to heart. And she was like, oh my gosh, I should have thought of that first. So thank you, Dave, for your style tips. Very trendy.
Right?
Laura taking advice from.
Can I show Clayton I'm pregnant?
Oh boy.
Oh, wait, hold on. It's out of place. Let me just shift it over my boob.
Yeah.
It was so weird. It was just gelatinous. Like
silicone almost?
Happening.
Oh, don't forget the monsters. She commits to her stories.
Babies.
That's for sure. With all the accessories and everything else necessary, she commits.
Chris,
that was more real than Laura's moonbow.
She will be the Halloween costume of the year.
You?
Chris,
and what about the court photos with the side view where she's holding her arms up? She can just eat a big meal and she can just make her belly look like she's 5 months pregnant like that.
She also has Adobe Arts and Crafts.
Chris, I didn't know you went and saw Clayton. Now you're pregnant.
Oh, she was at a pool party. Of course,
she
right?
I did.
guys-
I talked to Clayton for about 3 minutes. Wild what can happen. Just,
Right?
Do you guys need me to pee on a stick in front of you? Because I'll do it.
I actually
have
tested
stage fright?
positive today.
My throat kind of tickles a little. I don't know. I was around Greg, Mike, and Clayton.
Oh gosh.
Me
I
too.
was surprised how much Clayton wanted to talk about the
might
hearing
cause
after that.
quadruplet.
I'm pregnant with triplets now. One from each of them. It's like
A
I
whole
tested
back
positive. What is it? It's 3 days later. I tested positive.
Who
Yeah.
can make an ultrasound?
Hold on, let me.
Rosalind, you're good with Photoshop.
I was using Lala's Catch a Man kit.
So, okay, so like let's just pretend that everything goes swimmingly and it's all rainbows and lollipops. What's next?
Greg.
Greg and
So,
Mike.
Greg and Mike.
well,
Yeah.
Greg and Mike for sure.
Greg's
but-
Greg's order of protection is up in November of 2023.
Yeah.
And Mike's is up in 2025. So we got to get them. We got to get them reversed. This is not okay to have on their records. Even Mike begging the judge to reconsider was heartbreaking. When doing that restraining order the second time, like that was just heartbreaking to see him begging because it was ruining his life, and she was living in Arizona at the time.
Especially after meeting Mike, like honestly, he's just like such an amazingly like nice guy.
Yeah.
He's sweet and he's so thoughtful, and it's just so upsetting that she does have a type as far as physical looks go, but she also has a type as far as like emotional intelligence goes. She tries to pick really empathetic people who are really, really nice because she thinks she could take better advantage of them. And, she's not always wrong, but I mean, that's the wrong thing to do, but she's, correct, I guess, to an extent. But it just sucks because he's so freaking nice, honestly.
Well said.
Yeah. Well, and Greg's funny. I mean, he's just flat out funny. I think I appreciate his level of snark.
Yes, I love it as the snark master myself.
Go. Say good night.
I don't like nighttime either.
Now it's time to say goodnight. Goodbye.
This is the only. Hey, look, there's no tears there either.
Oh man, let's morph her in too.
Can you leave
here you
me
go, baby squid.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah.
She loves
This is not
Megan's
me,
whole
that's
music.
her. Thanks, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, Mini Quoco.
Say good night.
Bye,
Okay,
baby.
I'm gonna go back. Yeah. I'll be right back.
To answer your question, Rosalind, as a resident of Maricopa County, on a personal level, I want to see Mike and Greg get their justice, but I want to see things changed on the law level for myself and everyone else who lives here. I mean, I'm dealing with a litigious little bitch right now who's making my life a living hell because she's abusing the court system how Laura has. And it's happened numerous times before. Whether it's something in the water here in Maricopa County or maybe it's nationwide, there's these women that I have had personal experience with, and now this pseudo experience with Laura, that truly take advantage and destroy people's lives, and they get away with it because the way our system's set up right now, until someone is physically violent, there's nothing that the police can do for us. So like my life can be in fear and I can be threatened, but unless she's on my doorstep with a weapon, there's nothing that can stop that. And that's, in a way what these men are living with. So if we can get the laws changed, then that can actually protect future victims from having to deal with this and having to associate with it. And I think there's the restraining order, protective order aspect we can pursue. And there's also the paternity case aspect of if we just make it more steps for the ability to file a paternity case, this would have prevented every single one of these men of being in this situation. So that's
Yeah,
what I want to see efforts put into changing what the society I live in.
I agree. I think
this. Go ahead.
I think the paternity thing specifically, like, I think that you shouldn't be able to file for anything paternity related until you've actually given birth.
Exactly.
So many things can happen during a pregnancy. Like, you know, unfortunately, the mother could pass, which would also make the child pass. The child alone could pass. The father could pass. Like, you know, there's so many different things that can happen, so many complications, that I don't think that you should be able to file for anything until you've actually produced a child, because that would, then you could easily just DNA test that immediately. Like, that's
right.
You don't even need to go that far. You could just say it has to be past the first trimester and it has to be proven, but with an ultrasound.
With a doctor verifying the ultrasound.
Yeah, I think Clayton, flipping the script and not letting this go really sets a precedent and shines a light on the misuse of the justice system and the fraud that can happen. You know, women have this power, you know?
Yeah.
You've got to really be judicious and really look at it. So I'm hoping that him really taking this on is going to make some changes in family court.
I mean, what a legacy.
Rogue Mama in chat says Mike should be able to file a motion to bring it before the court again.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
He should be able to. It's just a matter of he needs Omar, the tilted lawyer, to review his case, and then they can take it from there.
Omar said he would when he gets back from Hawaii, so that's definitely hopeful.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I'm thinking about ways to raise funds, because I know, not everybody has the resources that Laura has. How do we help them going forward? Like, how do we raise funds? I thought about designing some merch and just making the proceeds go to a slush fund where it goes to whichever one needs it. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I mean, obviously there's some research to be done, but I think that there's an opportunity there to help. And if it does make changes for everybody that comes, down the road, that's great.
Yeah, money keeps moving.
Megan said there was some wealthy CEO that was watching the streams that was going to provide up to like $10,000 for additional victims to come forward.
That's
so
fantastic.
Maybe that person would be able to help put some
that would
money
be fantastic. And I do agree the laws need to change. I do think there needs to be a basic standard for being able to bring a suit. And right now there's not. I mean, like, she just willy-nilly.
What is that about communicating with her, and she says, "Okay, file a motion to communicate."
So what does that look like? Like when you say that?
Clayton's Law.
Or worse, Laura's Law.
Oh, no.
No, she doesn't get the credit for it.
Exactly.
I think because her motion to communicate and whatnot, that was before. Was that before the August action, or was that after?
Oh, I just took notes on
after. They were about the same time, I think.
And then there were three. There were
three
motions to compel communication.
Yeah.
Just like the motion to compel.
Extra.
The motion
Hold on,
to
it's
compel
her
lunch.
direct, or no, her cross. Hold on.
Look, I guess we know who the researchers are.
Because because if that was afterwards, then if you make it so that you can't file for the parenting plan until after the first trimester and after the confirmation, then that would completely destroy her case there anyway.
I just don't think that there's a need to start filing for paternity until you actually have a child. I think it just eliminates a huge amount of questions, a huge amount of potential issues, and you would get back child support anyway. So if it takes, for some stupid reason, if it takes a little bit of time, you would get that amount of money back in the end. So
isn't Arizona like one of the only states that does this while someone's pregnant? Most states wait until after a baby is born to do anything.
I have a weird feeling that it's more common than we think it is.
No, for sure it is.
Can you say that again, Halville? What's more common?
The lack of, laws and burden of proof to bring a paternity case.
If we think about it, though, I mean, the protective order aspect in Arizona is a joke.
Yes.
Like, I've had so many against me, against others. It's a joke. They hand them out like candy because they rather say they tried than to deny someone one, right? Mm-hmm. And with her case with Greg, that went down the route of abortion extortion. So that was a different type of case, and that was in a different court. This one's on the paternity end, establishing paternity. So while all these cases have similarities, and they're very, to us, it's like these no-brainers. Why are these actions happening when we see it clearly? She's fighting her battle this way for the first time in this type of court. So it makes sense why she's been making mistakes. It makes sense why things are more convoluted, and where she's accurate in some areas, and she has expectations that she's just going to be believed, because that is how protective order court here in Arizona works. You are just believed. You're just you're given candy. So I think the experience going down this route, it's unique for her as well, even though she's been litigious. So this is one side, changing the court is one aspect of it. And I totally just went on a long rant. I'm sorry, guys. But to circle back to what you were saying, I don't know if it's specifically that law that would have changed this or prevented this, or if it is unique to other states. I think she got in the groove in Arizona in protective order court, where everything's easy to get and go through.
But then weaponizing orders of protection. So let me circle back to you guys. I'll just read to you what was said on Monday about just the she filed a motion to communicate on August 8th, a motion to compel communication on August 23rd, and then on the 29th, an expedited motion to compel communication, and then filed the order of protection against him. So she has that's the pattern, right? They won't communicate with me, they won't date me, they won't get involved, and then the order of protection. So 3 times she wanted Clayton to play her game.
And 3 times he said, "Get out of my sandbox."
Yep. Yep.
But I think that if it were difficult, if it were more difficult in other states, then Mike wouldn't have an order of protection against him. So I think it must be just as easy to get an order of protection in other states as well.
And then have you guys watched any of the 3-part Greg Gillespie hearing?
Yeah.
Not yet.
I watched it.
Yes, 23.
We were doing transcript readings of it, and then we stopped doing it.
Oh, good. I want to get my hands on those
video.
transcripts. I want to get my hands on transcripts, because watching it's just and taking notes is exhausting. But
I think more people start talking about this case and the related cases, like I just end up in a giant content hole before I've even woken up in the morning. So I'm just like,
but look at how they're happening simultaneously. August of 2023, she's having these hearings, which she's not present at, but she's losing lawyers, she's getting new lawyers. There is such a web of, again, I'm just imagining this, like, the keeping this up, and look, weighing 91 pounds. I mean, I have to just hats off to the human body for sustaining this level of keeping up this charade, and then the multiple players.
She was gaining weight during this.
Energy into something productive. I mean, thank God her horses probably provide some kind of earthly anchor, but wow, it's a lot of effort.
She was
it's
at
a
least
real
125.
shame. I think she could have really done something so much better with her life. Like she could have been a horse rescuer, and like I think Dave said or Megan said, could have really leaned into that. And it's just such a shame that she chose to ruin lives instead of help lives and be public about that.
And you see that pure, innocent essence of her with her horses. And I like to see every side of a human, and I've seen her with her horses. I went down the whole wormhole of the videos of her jumping and being with her horses. That's where you see this part of Laura.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's only evil to humans, to be honest.
But her parents fucked her up. Her parents are just continuing the same whatever craziness that's in her lineage. I don't know that this one's going to get figured out in this generation. It's just her parents are her dad, but right, her dad is the one that had some clarity and like, yeah, she's done this before. But then
he didn't help me at all. So yeah.
Why do they keep enabling this and not saying, Laura, you have a problem, get help?
Well, mom will never, she is just like Laura. Mom is the narcissist. Dad is really suffering with Parkinson's. I would imagine he's quite advanced in his Parkinson's.
That's what I was thinking.
It's kind of like clinging to life is my guess. On
That's the feeling I got from that pregnancy video with him touching the belly. I think it was maybe her sister's belly.
That's right.
Yeah.
The dad was more involved in the Mike relationship and completely out of it in the Greg and Clayton relationship.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked to Mike at Megan's house, and he was saying that during the time that he knew Laura, the dad was always like stepped on and pushed aside, and like he said, for an example, like they would be at dinner and the dad would be like, oh, here's something that's on my mind, and the mom and the daughters would be like, shut up, like be quiet, we don't want to hear from you. Like they would just snap at him all the time and shut him down. That was his exact words. Mike said that he would get shut down all the time. So
he was kind of a doormat for them to walk all over.
Watch out, Jason. Wear a condom.
Jason, you know what, you guys, listen, because I've said this out loud and I get kind of shut down, but I watched an interview with Clayton in which he said, and it's recent, that I feel for her because it's her parents that have enabled this and set this up. So I like that there's that compassion from him where those of you in the overflow room, Clayton's face on that screen, like that game face. Oh my God, I wish. Well, we'll get a recording of it when the team's footage gets released.
Mm-hmm.
So he had that combo of the game face. He said, when I talked to him, he said, yeah, it's like game day, game face. And I was just in the zone, but he has that heart. That's what makes him so perfectly crafted to take this on. You know, like he kind of sees, again, the whole picture. Like he feels compassion. He's like, I'm going to fucking make you pay, bitch. You know, like he's just a really good human. And I think it's going to go a long ways that he can stay in this and see it through.
Yeah, I think your idea that there's more than just her in this family dynamic, I think Mike agrees with that, with what he was telling me as well.
What about Sarah? Do you think that the sister is kind of like on the periphery, like she sees it, doesn't see it? I feel like she's different from Laura.
I don't know. Well, Mike said that.
Hey guys, can I cut in just real quick?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. So I popped off and I just got the announcement that Padlet is back online.
Oh my God.
So
love that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
okay, so we're back online. I'm going to go to sleep and enjoy my night.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations.
I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight, and
I've enjoyed having you. Thank you so much for coming on.
I love your heart.
So nice hanging out with you again.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Nice talking to you guys.
Good night.
Bye.
See you later. Good night.
Night.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Just reiterated the part of all of this, right? She's so sweet and just kind of grounds it all in the loving
man,
human.
she really is. She's such a loving person. But like the Mike thing, like he did actually say that Sarah's like also a pretty crappy human. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, my take is that entire family is basically like countries with nuclear weapons, where they're all ready to destroy each other. So it's like Cold War.
Ooh, like a weird game of what's that board game?
Like Risk.
Are you saying?
Yeah, mutually assured self-destruction.
Risk,
yes.
a weird game of family Risk.
Yeah, so they all have to be sort of calm about things because any of them can destroy any of them at any moment. That's what I think. But I mean, that's just my take.
I think that maybe she knows she's a crappy person and she just doesn't want to be a publicly crappy person. So she doesn't want,
I agree.
Privately crappy.
Think about her finding love and, you know, having a family. Like that really allows you to insulate from the craziness that is your family dynamic.
That's true.
IB0093 in the chat says, only problem, Laura is an adult now. Her parents effed up, but at some point she has to take responsibility. I completely agree. I think Clayton is very nice. He's very kind. But I think that it's too easy to just make her family be the scapegoat of like, oh, it's not your fault. It's your family's fault. Like, yes, her family could have groomed her to be how she is today, but she's an adult. She can take responsibility, and she doesn't. She doesn't try to grow, and she doesn't try to learn.
They're still a mesh. They
really grow up
together. The quartet farms, the living in the casita. They're taking care of the dad. They're enmeshed. There's no outside perspective for Laura. Her mom, she's the only one that showed up for her in court. They're enmeshed. There's no grand vision of her family.
She has
dynamic.
a podcast for self-help. She talks to people. She interviews people. She gets a lot of different perspectives all the time. I think Liz Neptune said it really well. She said, I think the problem here is unemployment, but unemployment also is a great opportunity to expand your network and travel and get different perspectives. I think she has every opportunity to see different perspectives and to, eat with other people. And despite all of that, she chooses to continue eating with her family. So I blame Laura for all of her actions, and I blame all of her family for their actions.
Yeah. There's background, but there's also responsibility.
Well, yeah.
The way I've seen it,
responsible for turning her into what she is, but she's responsible for what she has said and done.
Exactly. Yeah. Accountability.
Accountability. The way I look at it is all of our families. Look at your own individual family. We are all functioning in our own dysfunctional way. We all have our skeletons. We all have those things. And we've all, beginning when we were kids, we learned defense mechanisms and ways to survive in our own dysfunction. And where where Laura lost the disconnect with reality was when she took those survival techniques or whatever dynamic she uses within her family, and she brought it public, and she tried to force those family rules upon these men she's trying to date. You can't, the stories about how Ron was treated, you can see the lack of respect for male figures in the family. You can see the demand and the expectation of their behavior. She took what she learned, yes, from her family, but also how her family treated her and the interactions there. To not harp on someone else's family, I could go through and psychoanalyze my own and break down how I respond to the world based on how I grew up with my siblings. And I think we're seeing that. And because she went to the Sun, because this got public, and because she doesn't know the difference between how you behave and survive within your core unit and group versus how you behave with the entire world, that's why it's like, this bitch is crazy.
You need self-awareness for that. That's the difference. You and I have broken those lineage or that ancestral patterns because we have self-awareness. We want to change the patterns of our parents, right? Yeah, all of us. But that's the thing. That's what attracts us to these kinds of cases, is that we can see where, we see patterns, right? We see patterns, but we've had the self-awareness to say, I want to break my own patterns. So, but if you don't have self-awareness, it ain't ever going to change.
So I think uncomfortable question.
Patterns.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I think you can be self-aware, but not care what other people think. So not care to break the patterns as well.
True. That's true. Yeah.
So do you think there's some healing yourself through this process that's going on for some of you?
Yeah.
Well, my mom just died in February, and
sorry. I'm so sorry, Hava.
And I was raised by a very narcissistic parent, and then going through this court case with, I'm not going to say it out loud. Just having that, I really want to bring that self-awareness piece into being able to identify it, that narcissism, and break the patterns, and to draw other people's attention to narcissism, and right. So, yeah, I think we all kind of share some version of whatever that is that helps us or that drives us to see justice in these cases.
Yeah, agreed.
I think on a lighter note, I'm definitely healing from the sunburn from Arizona. So.
Is that still?
No, that's the wine. You weren't like that before the wine.
Either
Bruce,
one.
did you love those pictures of you? I took you're in your full suit, and then he's got his jacket open, he's got a t-shirt, and your tie hanging open, and then.
Oh, is that you? Those are such good photos.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, poor Bruce. He was just beat red.
I was so impressed. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, 8:00 in the morning. I got there at 7:30, and he's in a full suit. I'm like, well, we'll see how long this lasts.
Hey,
I arrived around the same time, and I was like, "Oh my god, people are wearing full freaking suits, really?"
you know, we're running the Dave Neal Rush Hour Tech Van. We're not fucking around here.
That's right.
Serious
That's right.
business, kids.
And then you adapt, right? You loosen the tie, you open the jacket.
So I've got something for you guys.
Every single one of you had a real important job, and y'all need the fort when a lot of threats came raining down. You held the fort. Love you, Dave.
100%.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
That's why I go to the gym.
Aw. In bed with Mr. August.
Aw.
Enjoy it,
I
Dave.
think Dave,
Yes,
I think
we'll
Dave
invite you next
regretted
time.
the pants, though. I think next time he does a live stream in summer in August, he's going to wear black pants. Don't you think, Dave?
Well,
I'm surprised he didn't have any sweat stains in his pants.
Shorts.
I told him, I said, do not want to see your out right now.
I mean, here's the thing. You never know if you're going to have to go into the court building or something. You don't want to be wearing
Were you
shorts.
guys anticipating that?
I don't know. What's that?
Were
Linen.
you anticipating that going in at some point?
I don't think Dave was ever planning on going in, but just in case. I definitely went in to deliver some equipment for Scott and Lauren, which was a wild time. But,
And you guys lost the generator, didn't you, at some point? It ran out of gas?
Yeah, out at the van. So we originally had this sort of ceiling AC, and when the generator went out, that stopped. So we had to start the engine. Luckily, the van had a full tank of gas. So we just ran the engine in the cabin AC and blew it back towards us. And actually being in the van was fine. I think I only really got hot when we had to clean up around the van after the trial was over.
Yeah.
I've got something for you guys. I've been sitting on this for a long time. We talked about it in the Discord.
Sorry.
What's Dave saying?
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on going in, but when Gingras asked
Oh,
asked Laura who Dave Neal was, I wanted to fly in and say your worst nightmare.
Oh, guys,
I
had to turn around in the van and grab Dave and keep him from running out of the van. I had to stop. I had to
I'm
hold
just
him
some
back.
podcaster.
Yeah, I had to hold Dave back in the van. Yeah.
Oh man, I think my favorite line of his, I am the media, bitch.
Okay, so I've had this. I talked about this in the Discord. If anyone's here who remembered this, but does anyone know what primal astrology sign is? It's basically the Western zodiac sign. So, like, I'm a Sagittarius. You know, Aries, Libra, all those things, combined with your Chinese zodiac, which is so the Eastern one, which would be like I'm the year of the pig. There's I don't remember the rest. But anyway, so primal is a combination of both. And I feel like they're very, very accurate. So I'm going to read Laura's, and you guys can tell me if you think that it sounds like her or not. So here is the page, primalzodiac.com. So she is the kangaroo. Those born under the sign of the kangaroo can be difficult to figure out. On one hand, they appear to be relatively friendly, hardworking individuals who work too much and are always focused on something else. Get in the way of their goals, though, and watch out. Few signs have the explosive temper of the kangaroo. And this is all online. If you guys want to look at it and read along, you can. I didn't write this. It's just on there. They don't mean to offend, but the hot-headed and heavy-hearted kangaroo lives in an inner world of extremes and has a hard time realizing that others don't see everything that is going on behind their focused exterior. To this sign, life is a battle that must be won at all costs, and anyone not with them must be against them.
Well, that's us.
Well, her goal seemed to be to trap a man.
Jump in my pouch.
Members of this sign are obsessed with the future. More accurately, they are obsessed with their future success. Few signs are as determined as the kangaroo. Once they have decided to achieve a goal, they will pour themselves into the challenge, often working late into the night to follow through on the idea before it slips away. We know where those manic emails come from. Kangaroos are much more creative than they seem from the outside. Well, we've seen the arts and crafts.
Oh, yeah.
The combination of innovative thinking and a stubborn yet passionate drive often overwhelms a kangaroo's senses. So I wouldn't say that she's not passionate. I think she's a very passionate person. Yeah. They have a hard time staying balanced between working and living. Well, I don't know about that one. Maybe working on her hobbies, you know, all the writing.
She does not work.
I mean, if lawsuits don't work, I mean, there it is.
Which they often view as the same thing. In truth, kangaroos just want to be admired and appreciated. They know that few others are capable of matching their ambition and motivation. No one else is as motivated and ambitious as her. And since they appreciate these qualities more than any others, they can't understand why those around them don't seem to acknowledge their efforts. These traits are indeed admirable and even impressive to some. But what kangaroos fail to realize is that those close to them prefer the rare opportunity of having them present in the moment over getting to share in their future success.
Wow.
So that's just the general overview. And then we have a compatibility, love and friendship section, and then a career and goals section.
I've never even heard.
What was that, Brad?
I've never even heard of primal signs, and I just looked mine up.
Oh,
what is yours,
Brad? I got to do that too now.
Let me just read this first line of the love and friendship, and then you guys can look it up and read it for yourself. So this is love and friendship. When they do relax, this is one of the most enjoyable signs to spend time with. I always thought that she probably is really charming and charismatic, because like the sicko ex I was telling you guys about, he was very charming, very charismatic. And then, you know, all of a sudden I end up drugged under mushrooms and him showing up at my door after I broke up with him. So they have everything it takes to be successful. Oh, wait, sorry, I got lost. Okay, they are naturally great conversationalists, can make others feel at ease, and are excellent hosts. Their creative minds and deep interest in unusual subjects, horses, make them many people's favorite guests at social gatherings. It's really a shame that kangaroos choose to spend so little time truly engaging with other people. Once they've gotten lost in their work, they can change dramatically into stubborn, irritable, hot-tempered, frustrated individuals with little patience for distractions. Close friends and family learn to live with this, but for others, it can be off-putting.
I would say so.
Whoa, accurate.
That's the truth. Off-putting. Woo.
To say the least.
Yeah, as off-putting as thinking about crusty Claytons.
Ew. Well, that was one thing that I found very unusual. Just the way that she is so candid or even cavalier at times with her sexuality. And I mean, in front of people, like just, there it is. I'm like, maybe I'm a little bit older than some of you.
I don't find anything sexual about her ever. I've never
but
seen
just the way she talks about their encounters, and she goes into these details, and it's like a Harlequin novel of some sort. I'm just like,
but it's empty because it doesn't exist. Like she's never had that. I don't think she's ever experienced real deep love with a man before. I mean, do we have any history of her in a relationship where it was?
So that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Well, apparently she's been she's been like messing with people since like high school. So I don't think that there was any time for like an actual relationship to bloom. She's probably never been in love.
Rom-com Bachelor season. She's caught in a real that's part of that sociopathic, the core lie, the core fantasy that she keeps perpetuating. She's never experienced real love before. You know, so, and she hasn't really experienced it from her parents, so she's very schismed that way. So she's just kind of living out some psychotic fantasy land yeah, go ahead.
She wants to control everything. Like she just wants to control so much. And when you want to control someone, like you can't love them. Maybe to that person, they feel like that's what's love to them. But when you feel loved by someone else, like, do you feel like they're trying to control you? No, you feel like they're trying to pedestal you and give you every opportunity to be who you want to be and to make the choices you want to make. That's what real love is. And I feel like maybe she's started relationships well and people felt like they were falling for her, but then, you know, eventually she starts wanting to control them and nitpick them and, oh, actually I don't like this, actually I don't like that, actually you're hanging out with your friends too much, why don't you hang out with me? And then, you know, that's when it all falls apart because they're like, this person doesn't love me, they are trying to control me and change me.
Well, I think it's very clear very early in, these men are caught on to her, and that's when the pregnancies happen. It's very quick. It's very scripted. These men catch on very quickly. That's the pregnancy ruse. That's the, you know, talk to me. Oh, you're not going to talk to me. Order of protection. So it's very, I find it very succinct, the timing, and very short.
I don't think it was as quick with Mike, but I also think that
he lasted a lot longer.
She just desperately wants someone to like be proud of being with her, but in trying to do that, she forces herself on far too hard, and then tries to manipulate them when they're not really into that kind of, you know, vibe that she's giving off. And it's just like, if she would just relax a little bit and like just save horses and stop manipulating people, I think that she would find someone. But like, honestly, I don't know if there's really a person for her.
Look at her demeanor changing when Woodnick was questioning Clayton. Like, with the next day, he said, you know, I really don't think we should ever do that again. Immediately, she's crying. She's like, what?
That's when the switch flipped. Yeah.
And so for that immediate shift to happen, that ain't normal. That is not a normal unfolding of a dynamic with men and women.
Well, I think part of her being upset, but I think part of her being upset about it was that she didn't get to actually have vaginal penile sex with him. And so she didn't complete her proper trap, you know.
What a shame.
Also, for the record, apparently I'm a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Wait, in the primal astrology?
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
What?
I'm a goose.
That's not even right. We need to
you guys are all looking at us.
Motion
Look what you did, Chris.
retesting on the primal astrology. I think we got a few backwards.
Oh,
maybe after this, Dave will finally be a believer. I'm going to convince Dave of astrology. I'm going to convince him of aliens. What else?
Well,
Bigfoot.
Dave is happy to make videos about aliens.
Wormholes instead of bugging these men.
Well, Dave has to be convinced of astrology because Tasha's into it, and apparently he has to read page 5 just to make sure she knows that he was paying attention.
He doesn't have to believe it; he just has to memorize it.
Yeah, exactly. It's still a lot of work.
Let's look up Dave's primal zodiac. How about that?
Yeah.
What's what year was he born again? Was it 85? 86?
Let's not dox him.
His birthday. I don't stalk Dave that much that I have his whole birthday
87
memorized.
or 84, I feel like.
Okay, I looked up my mom, and she's an Emperor Tamarin, which, can I share my screen, Roslyn?
Yeah.
Just because it's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, what is that?
Oh, people in the chat are saying it's probably 85.
Yeah, that sounds
Look
right.
at this thing.
What is that?
It's a monkey.
Wait, I thought you were a goose. Wait, is this? Who is this? Your
Make
mom?
it with
This is
that?
my mom.
Oh,
It's so cute with his mustache.
Oh my god!
Wait, what does it say?
So
This
cute.
is one of the most contradictory signs in the primal zodiac. Those
Uh-oh.
that
Whoa.
are under the
easy,
sign
Techie, you are an iguana.
represent themselves as fun, carefree, smart, and caring. And
That's
while
my
they
mom.
do indeed share their, oh, it's too tiny for my little eyes. Anyway,
If
they
I
look
show this to my wife, she's going to flip.
What is your wife?
You got to do
She's
it,
a
man.
great white shark.
Oh, nice.
That sounds
You're-
better.
Woo, Mrs. Goatee.
Spicy. Sounds,
Well, that little guy looks
sounds
like
good for you, man.
a Pekingese monkey.
So cute.
looks carefree.
Yeah.
I'm a lemming, apparently.
Ooh.
Great white sharks are extremely social and love to talk almost as much as they love to talk or love to be talked about.
Oh, interesting.
Members of this sign have a lot of hobbies and need to regularly exercise both the mind and body to stay in balance. More so than any other sign, great white sharks lose interest quickly in their pursuits and will ditch any project at any point in favor of whatever interests them more.
Except IT Goatee.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All right, now I got to play along.
It's because Brad has to do the projects. You have to finish them, right?
No, thankfully.
No.
Squid, did you look yours up?
I didn't.
Oh.
Oh, interesting. So it's your Western astrology with your Chinese astrology. Okay.
Oh, that's really weird because I'm like an Aries year of the dragon, and I'm just like extremely fiery. But I think that the Tyrannosaurus Rex explanation, I don't know if it like gets me the same way the other ones do. So I don't know.
Oh my God, I'm a woodpecker. Oh, that's so funny.
So you're like relentlessly annoying. That's so rude.
What's the first line say?
Independent, self-sufficient, and optimistic.
Oh, that's good.
Strong belief in themselves and their ability to create and achieve. Highly capable and adaptable. Good at figuring out puzzles and overcoming challenges that others prefer to avoid. Yeah, there's a small niche of us, right?
That's a really good explanation there, or blurb.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm gonna have to check that out more later.
Yeah, I have to like read the whole thing before I decide to reject it. So
Right. Get a full picture, right?
Yeah, it says I'm a lemming, so I have to. I don't know anything about lemmings, so I need to figure that out.
I think they're cute. They're like adorable. Little,
Are they snarky?
Well, it's the Roslyn Lemmers.
Do they look like lemmings?
I'm sorry.
Do they look like meerkats, lemmings?
I don't. I'm not sure that I know.
No,
that's what I picture.
Yeah.
So, you guys have been so much fun. We're obviously all rooting for Clayton and Greg and Mike. You know, if you could think of something that needs to happen to help them or support the cause, like what is it? Like what can we do? What can anybody do to help any of them?
Get the protective orders overturned, I think, is the first step. And I would like to see, similar to what we've been able to do for Clayton, organize and collect that evidence of the points that to appeal a protective order and to get them dropped. To get one, you have to go in and state what the accusations are. And to appeal it, you have to prove those accusations are false. So if we can get our hands on what she got those POs granted on and then break it down and disprove those claims that she used to get it granted, I think that's the first step. And I believe that info might be out there, but if we can organize it and pull it together, I think that would be beautiful first step.
Yeah, and watching the hearings, although Brad, you said there's transcripts available for all of Greg's hearings.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are out there.
Yeah, so I think, watching all of the hearings and
There's a huge amount of filings for the Greg cases.
yeah.
That's a
in
lot.
the background.
All right,
There's a lot
guys.
to cover.
I gotta
What
keep
a
going.
surprise.
I got a really early morning.
Good night, Squid.
So
Night.
I'll see you guys later.
Good night.
I think more publicity will definitely help. Like it needs to hit like national headlines.
Yeah, that's why I put Ray Clayton's the.
Yeah, because I think too, like if it does hit national headlines, then the money thing will be less of a problem because people will actually like want to help and donate and stuff. But in our small community, there's only so much money that we all can give, So, and I think that a big thing that's going to happen is like money drain.
After the findings from Judge Mata, her orders. Do you guys know Juicy Scoop, Heather McDonald, her podcast?
No.
Right.
Mhm.
That would be fun.
She would be a good one to like maybe have
would
someone
be.
like Megan on or Dave Neal.
Mm-hmm.
I think anyone
Yeah.
that wants to cover it, anyone, like the more people that cover it, the more different audiences that hear about it, the more
I'm
different
going to reach out to Heather. I'm in her Patreon. I think she needs to, she loves this shit. She loves
The
it.
more public pressure that's out there, absolutely, the higher the chances the courts will do something that's right.
Yeah.
If it, that's why these other men were able to be abused for so long, was because there weren't the eyes on it to cause the pressure.
Yeah.
We keep heating up that pressure. Well, then we've got our courts that they will be responsible for not acting or acting inappropriately if enough eyes are watching.
Yeah.
Right now, with the other stuff.
Truth is
That's
the
why
truth.
I think that's why I think the publicity is probably like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
What does everyone here think about the whole Megyn Kelly thing? Do you think she was ever planning to talk about it, or do you think she was just leading everyone on?
What do you mean?
I think
No.
she will.
I
But
think she was legitimately going to
Yeah.
cover it. It was just a matter of Donald Trump is the bigger news draw. And
Right, and
as a
then she also
political
has her
commentator,
hiatus.
I
Yeah.
missed that, guys. Tell me. So
Yeah.
Megan Kelly mentioned the case?
They were looking
She-
into interviewing everyone, and I
They
think
were-
another thing that happened was once they got into some of the details, they realized how deep it was, and that became a thing where it's like, well, we can't just like do a quick
Yeah.
thing
Yeah,
there.
you got to spend some
We
time.
gotta spend some more time on this.
Right.
Ooh.
I think like a 2-week hiatus right now. So she's like, just not doing anything. Hopefully when they come back, maybe they'll, God willing, be interested to kind of dig in a little deeper.
Hopefully.
I think Laura is just playing tag with her. I think she wanted to interview Laura, and I think Laura was like, "Yeah, I'll definitely do it."
Really?
And then I think Laura was like, "Actually, never mind." Blah blah blah. Like I think she's trying to set certain standards for if she goes on the show and does an interview with her. And so I think maybe that's probably slowing down the process because
That should
this
have been
is what she
Gina's
does with
thing, too.
everyone.
He's
It's like
So-
cancel
so
appointments 5 times in a row.
Yes.
Have confirmation that she was in touch with Megyn Kelly?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, though, I think that someone like Megyn Kelly would probably like run with it without doing an interview with her. She's wishy-washy about it. Like if she wanted to report on the story, I think she would. Maybe you're right. Maybe the timing was just bad with Donald Trump and everything, but I don't know. It would have been
Once we
really
get
good to have that before the case.
Yeah.
With someone as large as Megyn Kelly, it's not her choice anymore. There's a dozen people on that board making decisions on what she gets to cover. And
No.
I think in our society, capitalist society,
She's
story's
not on a
not going to
board.
sell it until a
she's
certain point where the
independent.
risk is too there.
No,
She is independent?
now.
She's independent now.
Oh, I take that back. I
unaffiliated.
just assumed that she had,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
Well,
she was
a
with
board or
Fox.
someone there.
She
Yeah,
moved to
she's on
NBC,
her,
and then she went
platform
independent.
is she using?
okay.
Yeah, she's independent.
I
Yeah.
take that back.
she's probably got producers running her calendar.
Yeah,
So she's
yeah.
probably at the mercy of a calendar for sure.
Yeah.
But I think once Judge Mata's orders come back, I think that's when journalists are like, I'll jump in once I know how this turns out.
That could be true. Waiting for the actual ruling. I think when the ruling comes in, there could be this sort of lull in what's going on And I think the important thing for next steps is really for people to just hang in there and wait for the next, for, Dave or Megan to shoot the next bat signal. Just hang in there, guys, and wait, because there will be more to do. You may just have to wait after the ruling, but hang in there.
And
I was so excited to hear about it right before the hearing and everything, and I was just like, oh my God, this would totally get the attention that it needs, this, that, and the other thing. And I think it was a little bit of like a letdown. So I was disappointed, but yeah, I don't have that.
I love BJ. Do I have little pink pom-poms somewhere? Oh, I love her. I fucking love her. Yeah, she'd get it. She'd do a great. Oh, can you imagine BJ? Do you guys watch BJ?
No.
Oh,
and blowjob investigate.
Imagine her with all.
I just thought it was a joke.
Sound bites from the whole. Oh my God, it's going to be brilliant. I'm envisioning it, you guys. I'm holding the vision. It's going to. We know it's going to become a very big story. It already is. It's going to be a very cautionary, exciting, hilarious, not so story someday, in the near future.
Right. Yeah, Gabrielle Stoddard in the comments said, or in the chat, I wanted to reach out to Sloan for one of his deep dives. He's got a big following and lots of C&D. Sloan has 1 million followers or subscribers. This is literally the type of stuff he does. He does mainstream content, people lying, people ruining other people's lives, people hushing other people up. This is definitely his vibe. And if Sloan reported on this, it would have over 1 million people viewing it.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad at him though. He keeps drudging up people's pasts, and I'm not so thrilled with it. Some of these are like, we know. It's all to get the clicks and the views, but oh my God, Sloan with that would be great. I agree.
Yeah, sometimes it's helpful to judge up people's pasts, as we've seen.
So, again, cautionary tales, right?
Right.
I would love to know more about whatever happened in high school, because I heard that there was some drama, but I don't think we ever got any like definitive stories. And I want to know the villain origin story so badly.
Of Laura's?
Yeah,
I mean, aside from just being ruined from birth.
It's pretty tough. There's a lot of hearsay stories out there, but I mean, how do you confirm all these things or validate that they're true?
Right.
And
again, if we know all that, like, I don't know, there's nothing we can do with it in terms of legally, moving forward in terms of a new law or helping Mike and Greg. So I agree. I agree. It's super interesting. I just don't know what I don't know how we can validate it, and I don't know what it can do for us. I agree. It's 100% super interesting, though.
Well, there was that, like Brad was saying, there was the lawyer who was going to put up like $10,000 for any other victims that would come forward. Like, I mean, realistically, at this point, I don't know what good that would do except for to give us more insight into her psyche, really, which I find very interesting, annoying, but interesting.
And there may be things we never know.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And that's the strange absurdity of life.
And I also want to caution people on how they feel about the ruling, because the ruling may not be things that we anticipate as well. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I'm anticipating in the ruling is that Judge Mata may be forced to say that she cannot grant non-paternity because, as Gingrich said, it's not statutorily available for her. But she could declare non-paternity because there's no pregnancy, and still award fees and sanctions because of all of the fraud that was done throughout the case.
I think, though, that Gingrich doesn't really have a firm grasp on family law. But I also think, who was saying it? I don't know who was saying it, but because there's like 5 million content creators at this point now covering it. But someone was saying that, like, it was her burden of proof to prove that he was the father of her pregnancy and to prove that she was pregnant. So she did not meet that burden of proof. Therefore, he is not the father, right?
And he said he took 3 paternity tests.
Yeah, he participated as much as anyone possibly could. She did not.
I think that was in the pre-trial filing that Woodnick did.
I think MG also said it.
Yeah. I thought it was like a lawyer or it could Yeah, maybe.
for sure. Because the default state of all of us humans, is not pregnant and not the father of someone who is pregnant. So if you want to make the claim that someone is pregnant or someone is the father of someone who is pregnant, you need to provide evidence, because you have to start from the default state. And the default state of all humans is not being pregnant or not being the father of someone who is.
You guys think of the magnitude of different tests that she took in the different places. I was on my way. In fact, I was driving home from the RavGen test when I stopped to get a self-paid test.
Yeah. And that wasn't a
all the
health
tests she took
provider.
were all P tests. Ma'am, that does not mean you're pregnant.
There's a reason every time she does something, it's a completely different place.
Yeah.
That's
Well, she treats
a clue.
Planned Parenthood like it's a drive-through, like it's Jack in the Box. Like I'm just gonna roll into this Planned Parenthood.
I don't even think she's been to a Planned Parenthood, to be honest.
If you think
I don't
that
think she has either.
if you think that her going to Planned Parenthood is like in and out, you should listen to the police calls. It sounds like she's ordering Chinese.
Yes, it does. Oh my God.
She's like, hi, yes, can I get some wontons and a protection order because I'm being bullied online.
I need the FBI, please, and the Secret Service and any other, alphabet I can get. Right. Well, guys, we've been at it for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Time
It's
flies.
been fun. I've really enjoyed this, and got to meet some of you in Arizona, and
Nice reunion. Yeah, nice reunion.
Well, I'm just
great to
I'm
meet
just
you.
very impressed. I'm very impressed with the level of professionalism and the collaboration, and just where everybody comes from, and coming together for this has just been so reassuring and inspiring. As from somebody who, sort of black pilled, ugh, nobody cares. And then I see this, and it's been really, really incredible to be a part of it with you guys and to meet you.
Likewise.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it was so nice meeting everyone in person, because now you're not just online friends, so I don't sound crazy. But B, like I said, everyone's just like such a good-hearted person that's like been involved in this case, as far as I've met everyone of the people that I've met anyway, and the people that I've interacted with personally. And it's just so nice that so many people are so invested in, justice for these wrongs.
Once Teresa has driven you across town, that's a bond. I mean, if you survive that, that's
I love Teresa.
When you're in the back seat and you don't have a seatbelt,
Danger.
Exactly.
And to watch, several times people change their minds about things. It's really beautiful to be with people that can keep an open mind and see several perspectives and listen to each other and engage in a way that allows us to, kind of just drop into the big picture and reach our goal together. So it's pretty amazing to be a part of this.
Sure.
Yeah.
How much does anybody have anything they need to grift?
Oh. Yeah, I know you were looking at, I'm like this nebulous creature in the ether. So I mean, I don't know if YouTube is connected to this. Mixtress Hava on Instagram. It got hacked last year. I'm just, yeah.
Was it Greg?
I'm just here.
Like Greg.
We are all Greg.
Was Greg the hacker?
Thank you. See you guys soon. Yeah, for sure.
Good night, sweetie. Brad?
Well, I'm
waiting on my last 5 hours before I can apply to be monetized.
We're almost there.
5 hours.
Well, the chat doesn't want the stream to end yet.
Oh, what's like to talk about, chat? A little bedtime about sociopathy.
Someone go turn on Brad's playlist and go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's I did a 5-hour stream for the trial. So one person watching that has me covered, but because
Turn
the
it on.
data is so backlogged that
Right.
it's got to wait for that to come through.
Oh, so it's probably done. You're just waiting on the processing.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
like Delta Sky Miles when you're waiting to move up a medallion level.
Basically. Because my analytics page says I have 4,000 watch hours. It's just
Yeah.
that the earn tab
They
says
never
I've got,
match. They never
You guys
match.
are so cute in the chat. Like anything, talk about anything.
Stephanie B wants to know, does it count if I watch your videos twice, Brad? I
It
ran
does
your
not.
videos on my TV the other
Okay.
day.
We still
doesn't
need
First watch only
You have
counts.
to you have to make another account, Stephanie. It's the only way. Make a second YouTube account and dual stream at the same time.
You need an alt, and you need to comment from both at the same time.
Yes.
We should bring up some of the things we talked about earlier that those that have joined us now want to hear us talk about
Oh, you're
anything.
gonna just start over?
Oh, save me. Well,
Oh my
Tori had a
God.
question. I want to hear what the question was.
Yeah.
Yeah, more questions. Otherwise, we're done, huh?
I don't think I had a question.
Oh,
No.
Laura might be able to give you lessons on swallowing. Woo!
What?
Wee! Big Johnson in the comments. I'm still trying to swallow all of this. That's the context.
I did say that.
I love it. Okay, we're getting saucy here.
I know someone was saying their throat was a little dry.
Yeah, I just have a little tickle. Just a little tickle.
Arizona.
Just the back of the throat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's triplets.
Thank you so much, Rosalind, for having us on. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it was my pleasure, and I'm so glad to do it. I'd love to do it again. I mean, let's do it again after we hear from Mana.
Yes.
Let's have a little celebration, if you will.
When do you guys think the rolling will come out?
I think
4 to
it'll probably
5
be
weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
And you know, then we're going to have some breaking news.
after Gangrene
Doe
comes back.
goes on the internet. Post it. You know, there's going to be at least, what do you think, 5 to 10 different videos between now and the ruling.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Craziness, whatever she's going to get up to between now and then.
Oh
Right.
God, she's gonna write another blog. Everyone, be on the lookout.
No,
And Jesus.
please, no.
Or she'll file a motion to compel communication with a new victim or something.
I'm a little surprised we didn't see a Medium blog.
She is on the dating apps.
Yeah,
So
she's
So we've
looking
heard.
to hook. She's looking to hook.
Is she still on the dating apps?
Yeah, she should be removed forever, banned.
How do we
she will
how
be.
do we
eventually.
know that?
She's
good
said
at dating.
Clayton said it.
Who?
Clayton.
Oh.
Yeah,
Huh.
she's
I-
removed from like Raya, I think. She's still on the league. I don't know about Hinge, but I know I saw a Hinge profile. There was like a video scrolling through her Hinge profile. So I don't know if that's still up or not, but I think we need to, maybe people need to post decoy accounts on those and just say, do not date this woman. She's freaking crazy. She'll offer you head, but then she'll turn your life upside down forever.
That's how you get a cease and desist, Hellville.
No, no,
Yeah.
no.
And that's where we circle back.
Yeah, I don't
These
You
people
use a
who get them
VPN.
off the internet. You
I
get
do
use a
them off.
catfish and
VPN.
catfisher.
there's only one person making fake accounts here, and it's not us. It's
Right. Well,
You
the
know,
only thing I
that's
have
what
going
I was
on is
Chase
next
J.
week
Jones.
I'm doing a show with
No, Mike,
Squid
I
Pro Quo. We're gonna do the Nope show where we've got a couple of people submitting stuff to us that we have to watch that is probably gonna gross us out. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
I like
That's
So be on the
exciting.
lookout for that.
that.
Anybody else have anything else popping?
I'm
Brad?
going to the Olympics. That's
You
pretty
did
much
In
it.
Paris?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I lived in Paris. I
Wow.
miss Paris. Oh, lucky you. That's going to be great. When is it? In July?
Yeah, like starts I think the end of July and goes through a good chunk of August. So
Here, let
Wow.
me stir up some shit. No Leah Thomas in the swimming. Did I stir some shit up?
I think she's been banned.
Another hour on the internet. Come on, Brad. Come on, let's keep it
I
going.
think I'm gonna keep Heather. I'm gonna keep her.
Oh man.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
On that note,
I guess we'll end it.
yeah. Thank you guys. This has been wonderful.
Thank you, chat,
Thanks
for
for
stopping
having
by. Thank you,
Thanks, all.
everybody. It's been fantastic. Oh, there goes the monetization. What did I say? What did I say?
No.
About head. Damn.
No, Hava said the thing about Leah Thomas, so you can't do that during Pride Month.
Way to go. Oh, I think she was quiet enough. We'll just put something else in there.
I didn't say anything else.
All right. Good night, chat. Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.